Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and I'm so glad to say Varla Ventura makes her return tonight on the big show. I have missed her. Oh, I have missed her. Dirty Filth has missed her too. She's going to be in to draw a cartoon for Varla here momentarily. But first, we have to say hello to each and every one of you amazing, awesome people, including Kitty Caddywhack in the gold medal position, Race Fan with a silver, Mel WD-40 taking home the bronze medal. He lubed up to jump into that third spot. Good job, Mel. Very, very good job. Let us say hello next to Kurt M. Paramarv, how you doing, buddy? Nice to have you here. Trucker Andrew, nice to see you. Paul Shreves, good to have you here. Paul Shreves will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. T-Bone, my man, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hope you're having a great night. David Dornberg, good to see you. Eternity Eternal and Bar Madison, thank you for joining us. Mr. Cowley, how you doing tonight, my friend? Hope you are well. Little Timmy James, not in studio tonight. He's at home editing number 6. We went back to Flight 21 on the weekend. We'll talk about that in hour number 3 when Little Timmy James is here. The Ferret, nice to see you. Mama Catherine, oh, this is just a great night. Varla, Mama Catherine, mwah, I love you, Mama Catherine. I hope you're having a great night, and I hope you're going to enjoy tonight's show. I really do. All right, Jaquetta, how are you? And by the way, just if you ever get a chance to see Mama Catherine, she gives the best hugs. She really does. So if you ever see Mama Catherine, make sure you walk up to her with your arms open and just give her the giantest hug. She will absolutely melt you with how awesome her hugs are. I love her. Absolutely love her. Fapster, how you doing? Good to see you. And who's next on our list? Cosmic Joe and Fast Hemi. Good to see you both. Flubber Lane, how are you? Bobbert Gray, good to see you. As we continue on with roll call here, Road Flare, thanks for coming on in. And Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. Benno has arrived. Benno will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Operation Shutdown. Number 16 in your program, starting at left wing from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. All right, he's going into a contract year too, so he should have a good season coming up here in just a couple of months' time before training camp starts. Moving on, who's next on our list here? Ozzy. How you doing? Necessary Dialogue, Rock and Rory. I'm Hardcore over on X. Look at this. Bow down to the Queen. Oh, yeah. The Queen of the Cryptids. I love it. Love it. Luscious Jules, how are you? Beautiful. Hope you're having a great night. Robert Lamoth. Magnus, how you guys doing? Undead Jed, thanks for coming on in. Walter Kochabinski, good to see you. Tim Mothman and his goatee, 2 separate entities. Jay Truthseeker, Scott Rosen, nice to have you all here. Matthew Goodka. Zen1, how are you, my friend? I can't wait to see you next year. Algaray over on Twitch, just for Varla, did 1,400 push-ups in 6.5 minutes to warm up for Varla's show tonight. Good job, buddy. Good job. All right, Jose Sanchez, nice to see you. And Sensational Sherry, how are you? Good to see you. And let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Good to have you with us as we have Varla Ventura returning after a 4-month hiatus. We're glad to have her back. We're in roll call right now, so stay tuned. The show is only about 35 seconds away. Jerry Carter, how are you, Jerence? Nice to see you. Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me, for me, for me. Oh, it's beautiful. Destiny Rocks, how are you? Good to see you. All right. Who's next on our list here? Got all that. Got all them. Kitty, thank you for kicking off the super chat. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show. Tartar Sauce, how are you? Monica, thanks for coming on in. Horns up, everybody. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods. We're together, friends. Oh, it's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We have an amazing show coming at you for tonight. Varla Ventura returns. Yes, the queen of the cryptids comes back after a 4-month hiatus. We'll get into that and more in just a little bit time here. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us with another spooky story. Follow that up. We will have Little Timmy James coming on in for the UFO report. All right, let's get right to it. Varla Ventura making her thankful return to Spaced Out Radio. She's an acclaimed author and researcher known for her work in the realm of cryptids, folklore, and paranormal. With a deep passion for the mysterious and unexplained, she has written several books that can be found in any major bookstore or online that delve into the fascinating world of creatures and legends that haunt our collective imagination. Varla's writing is a mix of history, myth, and a healthy dose of skepticism, making her a go-to expert for both enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Her website, varlaventura.net. Let's bring her on in. Varla Ventura, it is so good to have you back on Spaced Out Radio. How are you?
It's me. I'm back. I'm good.
Well, I want to just congratulate you, and I don't know if you want me to say anything.
It's fine. Yeah, we can talk about it. 100%.
I am so proud of you.
Oh.
I'm going to start off with this show, because this is emotional for me. You were like family for me. Okay. Varla has survived cancer. You had a cancer scare.
No, it wasn't a scare. It was a diagnosis.
Yeah. And you came out on top. And I was praying for you every day, thinking of you and trying to send you good vibes. And everything that I got spiritually and emotionally was, she's got this. What are you even worrying about, Dave? She's got this. And I relayed that message to you.
You did.
And I just knew that you had it. I knew you were going to kick cancer's butt. And from all of us at Spaced Out Radio, now people will know why you weren't around because you were going
Yeah.
through treatment. And I am so proud of you. And
Hmm.
I just think the world of you, and I know how important you are to Spaced Out Radio, our listeners, and your family. And I am just so proud at the way you handled things. And I can tell you, as I'm choking up as I say this, but when I watched your video of you ringing the bell,
Hmm.
I was just there with you.
Hmm.
So thank you for doing what you needed to do and kicking cancer's butt. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying all of that. And yeah, I mean, that's why I haven't been around. It's been a very strange and very rapidly moving 4-month period from diagnosis to cured phase, as my oncologist put it. So I appreciate it. And I appreciate all your support. You sent me lovely messages and were very understanding about me not being able to stay up all night like I like to do with all of you. But yeah, it's been wild. And I'm sure I'll have some PTSD from it, but it just happened so fast. It went from diagnosis to I had 2 surgeries, radiation, and now I'm, yeah, just kind of on the other side of that. And the strangest thing about it for me was that I never felt sick, not once. I felt fine. I was a little tired during radiation. It sucked and stuff like that. And I was wiped out from, 2 surgeries in a 2-week period, but I didn't feel sick. And it's such a strange feeling to go to a doctor, to go to all the doctors when you don't even feel sick. It's like, you sure? You sure about this? And I at one point I just felt like I was on a conveyor belt and I just got off wherever they told me to because I had no clue what else to do. So I just followed for once in my life. I more or less followed directions, and yeah, I came out on top. So thank you. Thanks for all your support. And yeah, so now I get to say cancer survivor on my resume.
I
Folklorist,
want to
cancer
ask you a
survivor.
personal I want to ask you a personal question. I don't want to delve too much into this, but I know somewhere out there we have listeners that are battling cancer right
Yep.
now as we speak. For you, when you rang that bell, what did that mean to you? Because the bell, for people who don't understand or maybe not know, when you defeat cancer and you are in remission and you get the all clear, they allow you to ring that bell. What did that mean to you?
Well, so it's basically the bell is when you complete your treatment. And so for some people that's chemotherapy, and for some people that's chemotherapy and radiation, and for some people it's just radiation. And at that point that well, your hope is that you're done with the hardest part of it, and it's kind of insurance, right? Like that's the purpose of those treatments, is insurance to try and keep it from coming back, or certainly in my case that was. And it's funny because I didn't really think it was going to mean that much, but I was like, well, of course I'll ring the bell. And right before I rang my bell, right before I went in for my final treatment, and the thing is like radiation or any kind of cancer treatment, as some of you know, you go in every day. You go in every day for whatever your duration is. If it's 4 weeks or 6 weeks, you go in 5 days a week, you take the weekends off. And so you really get to know, everybody by name. They know you develop this really, really intimate bond with these people that you are probably, I mean, you may see them again out on the street, but hopefully you're not going to see them again, right? Like that's what they want too. They don't want to see you in there for treatment again. And so I didn't really think it was going to be that significant for me, but there was a man who rang it right before me, and I had seen him in the lobby every day that I had been there. And I think he must have started the same day as me and finished the same day as me. And his whole family came out and he rang the bell. And then I went in and got my treatment. And yeah, I mean, I kind of cried when I rang it. It was such a relief, and it felt really good to just hit something, make a lot of noise and hit something. And yeah, and my son took that video. So he came, he was there, my 14-year-old son, and that was really significant for him to see that too, I think, as you know, okay, this is a good turning point, kind of thing. So I wanted him to witness that. I wanted him to see that milestone.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, and he captured
That
it
is.
perfectly. Yeah. I'm glad I have it, because I don't know what that was like. But then when I look back and I see it and I hear that bell and I hear everyone's cheering for you, and they give you a little "you completed radiation" card and a Toblerone and a little blanket and lots of hugs, and it's just really, they know it's a hard thing and they're just trying to make the absolute best of it. And the one of the struggles that I had was just there were people that were still there. There's a lot of people who can't walk even into the cancer center, and that was hard to witness for sure, because I mean, I had cancer, but I I think I got off easy in many ways, comparatively. So I'm very grateful for that.
We're glad for you. We're happy for you, your family, and everybody. You deserve it. And
Thank you.
congratulations
Thank you.
from all of us at Spaced Out Radio once again.
You owe me
You deserve
champagne
the
in
accolade.
Vegas in 2026.
I can't wait to see you again. I really can't. And I'm looking forward to it as well. Over that time that you were gone, were you focusing on the monsters, the cryptids, the legends, the folklore, to kind of help ease your mind through everything?
So the timing was very interesting, because I got diagnosed at the end of March. My new book came out in April. And I had all these grand plans for I was going to do like these book launches and things like that. And obviously I couldn't like really do much, because I had surgeries scheduled throughout the month of April. So all of these things kind of happened at once. But at the very halfway through my diagnosis, actually, I was working with Jeff Ballinger on a zine, and his new shadow zine. And so I was working on this story about Emily Grant Hutchings, who is this woman who channeled a novel via the Ouija board, that she said came through from the ghost of Mark Twain. And it's just this fantastic story that I touched on a little in Paranormal Parlor. But with Jeff, I was really able to like tell the complete story and what happened to her after, and other people who had channeled Twain, and sort of the whole context of it. And we had been working on that, and I was about like halfway into writing it, and I called him up and I was like, I have not great news. But his first question was like, what do you need? Do you need time? I was like, no, actually I want to keep working on this. So I was actually able to focus on that project. And what was nice about it is that I already knew where it was going, and I had kind of the rough bones of it. So I could just do sort of the creative writing part of it and escape all of my stress and worries about, what was happening and what all the unknown. There's just a lot of unknown in the beginning. And that's the part that keeps you up all night. Googling things you shouldn't be Googling, So, I had that in mind. And then I was also working on some presentations that I, did in conjunction with the Enchanted Plants book, which had a lot to do more with, there's a lot of folklore in that, a lot of poison plants. So I kind of threw myself into that. But at the moment, I was glad that I had projects in the works, but I didn't have anything that I had to start new right then, because I'm not sure if I would have had the like depth of creativity. However, I did come up with like a really great horror, like short horror story during the time, actually a couple of them. And it's kind of like, I don't think it's a new genre, but it could be. It's like medical horror. So like my thoughts were turning dark, but I felt like in a really healthy way. Um, so yeah, I mean, I thought about, you know what I thought about more than like, creatures or cryptids or fairies or anything like that. I thought more about the dead. And it's a coping mechanism, but I did this thing the night before my first big surgery. My friend had given me great advice. She said, go somewhere where you feel completely at peace the day before your surgery, because your life's going to change after that. So like go somewhere really beautiful. And since I'm landlocked in Minnesota, I couldn't go to the ocean, right? So I went to the plant conservatory and I went and sat in the like beautiful Victorian dome and sat with, all the plants in the kind of tropical room by this fountain. And I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. And after, and I'm not really great at sitting still, but this was like, I couldn't move. So I kind of sat there and then I started to write. And interestingly, what I wrote, and well, I don't know how interesting it is, but I just started to try and unpack like what I was so deeply, deeply afraid of. And I concluded that I was afraid of dying, right? So that was like, okay, well, that's obviously what my biggest fear is at this moment in time. And the next thing I know, I was writing this sort of more of like a personal essay, but also like it's a little fictionalized. And it was imagining, okay, let's say I died. Um, there would be my uncle holding his baby, and there would be my brother-in-law waiting impatiently for me, and my friend Ray would be playing the ukulele as I walked in, and my friend Annetta would take my arm as she walks away in her like beautiful diaphanous black gown. And I just sort of started imagining this place where all of these people that I love could potentially be. And I know it sounds really morbid, but in the end, it really comforted me because it made me less afraid. Because I thought, if that's what it is, and I can only go on, what I felt at that moment, we don't really know, right? It made it just it made me think like, oh, all right, I can handle that. And it was very transformative. So I did a lot of like writing like that was very personal and different for me, like personal essay type, like how am I feeling right now type stuff. Don't worry, that won't make it into any book. Not at all.
Well, it's good that you kept up your more morbid
Oh,
attitude while you're going through this.
thank you. Oh, well, and then I told that to my oncologist, and he took it a little out of context. So you're not going to die from this. You know that, right? The percentage of you dying from this is very, very low. And I was like, yeah, but at that moment, I didn't know that. No one told me that. That was the beginning. Like no one knew anything. They didn't know. They hadn't taken anything out or tested anything. So I'm just telling you, it's what I faced. So
So, what's your new book about?
okay, so the newest book is Enchanted Plants, A Treasury of Botanical Folklore and Magic. And that is an exploration of fairy tales and folklore, but through a botanical lens. So I didn't want to just do your average. Now, I'm a plant person, so I'll buy any plant book. But I didn't want to just do, okay, we're going to just list all of these plants and we're going to talk about their magic and their medicine. I really got the idea a few years ago when I was reading a Grimm's fairy tale, and I kept noticing a collection of Grimm's fairy tales, and I just kept noticing like the plants, like, okay, apples keep appearing, roses keep appearing. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to kind of like dive into these, but focus on the plants? And once I started doing that, I focused on stories where the plants were really kind of the main character. And if you were to remove that plant, it changes the story. And from there, you could infer a lot about the lore and the magic and the medicine of these plants. And then I arranged it by the type of garden that you would come upon in a fairy tale. So how else do you arrange a book like that? But you start out in the Queen's garden, and maybe you get to smell a perfect rose and perhaps take a bite from a lovely apple. And once you've made it through the Queen's garden unscathed, you go to the cottage garden, which is where the cooks are harvesting their garlic and their turnips and their cabbages. And then it gets dark enough, you can sneak into the witch's garden, and that's where all the poison plants are. That's where all the magic and the medicine is. When you've survived that night, you jump on your horse and you ride out into the meadowlands and you gather some herbs from the hills, and then you end up in the deep, dark forest, and eventually you hit the water's edge. And so each chapter takes you through different plants and kind of the story behind them, with a core story at the middle. And I had a lot of fun doing it. I retold a lot of old fairy tales, dove real deep into some old medical journals, and just had it was quite a feat. It took me actually really about 5 years to write that book. But it's done now and it's out. And you got a copy, didn't you?
I have not got a copy.
Yes, you have, because I had them send you one. You haven't received that?
No.
Bastard.
I wasn't really going to ask you when we were you're kind of going through your treatments and everything. Oh, by the way, how's your cancer?
No.
And where's my book?
I actually asked for that. You were on my list before the book even existed. You were on my list. Send one to Dave Scott. Okay. Well, I'm going to just mail one to you myself, because obviously
Beautiful.
they didn't send you one.
Will you autograph it?
Of course. Yeah. Well, now if I'm going to send you one myself, but this is what it looks like. I'll pull it up here. I know people are on the radio, can't see it. But it's probably backwards. Hardcover, gilded edges, ribbon bookmarker, which is very nice. Full color illustrations. Here we have henbane, delightfully deadly plant. Pumpkin. Everybody loves pumpkin. And this is the book. It's quite a feat. It's a nice hefty little book called Enchanted Plants. It's poison apple all the way to I think the water lilies are last. No, willow is our last plant in here. So
I love it.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry, Dave. I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Now I'm going to send you the package myself, because no one else can be trusted to do so. And I'll send you the zine too. Here's the zine. So this is Mark Twain's Ouija Mystery. And this is quite lovely because it's got some really great... this is Emily Grant Hutchings. She's the woman who channeled the novel via the Ouija board, and then was later taken to court for copyright infringement. It's a freaking great story. This dude kind of betrayed her, Marion Reedy. He was a publisher at the turn of the century of a lot of esoteric kind of publications, like widespread esoteric publications, and a little bit of like early Inquirer kind of stuff, but on the bat boy end of things. And he gave her this like glowing review and supported her. And then as soon as people started to turn against her, he said, I never thought she was that good of a writer anyway. So, yeah, so that guy sucks. And I pointed that out in here.
Well, Varla, I'm gonna get you to hold on right there, because hard to believe we're already through 30 minutes with Varla Ventura. VarlaVentura.net. You could get all of her books on her website or in any major bookstore right across North America and the world, because she is absolutely amazing. Varla Ventura, the queen of the cryptids, back on Spaced Out Radio. We are so proud to have her here tonight. We will be right back, everybody. All right, we are clear.
Ooh.
Sorry for almost breaking down there for a second.
Oh no! Thank you for being so fucking awesome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I
Hi, Dirty
appreciate
Filth.
it. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Varla.
Hi.
I love you, Varla.
I love you too so much. Vegas 2026.
Yeah, I think I can do that. Jim
Yeah.
Goodall will probably beat me up if I don't go down there.
Yeah.
I will personally smack your bald head if you don't come down there.
You can't smack it. You have to just gently polish the top of it.
I
And
mean,
then your
gonna
hands will be
wipe
all
your-
sticky
that might
and gross.
entice
And then
him. You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wipe your paint off.
Oh no! Don't reveal my actual face.
The dirty one. He's dirty, everybody. That's why we call him Dirty Filth.
I only shower on my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Special occasion. When is your birthday?
It's the exact same day as Augustus Caesar.
Oh Jesus! When was Caesar's birthday? August or something?
Yeah, it's the fall
August
equinox,
8th?
September
Oh.
23rd.
Oh, September 23rd. Cool.
Augustus Caesar and I have never been seen in the same room, so
There you have it.
There's a gargoyle.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Gargoyle's here. AJ, how you doing? Mish, how you doing?
yeah. There you go. Just keep breaking things. It's out of control. Cats.
Cats.
They learned from the master.
Jesus, I gotta get you a copy too. You guys are both in the acknowledgments of this book of mine.
Dave Tiger Williams is here. He'll
Oh.
drop the gloves for you.
Nice. Dave, did you see that? I'm sure you've seen it. That there's like a viral video going around of like some ex-NHLer on a golf
Nick
course.
Tarnasky.
It's like the
Now,
guy
in true
picked a fight with the wrong guy there.
In true Canadian fashion, the guy who got his ass kicked, he posted a video that's gone viral, basically saying, "Yeah, that's me.
That's me.
I
was a
deserved it.
jerk. I deserved
I
it.
deserved it."
I mean, he threw that man like a rag doll.
Oh yeah.
And he was a
Oh, yeah.
full-grown man. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, okay, I'm making myself a post-it because my brain is mush. Send books to Dave and Phil. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna put it up here on the monitor that I never use.
Well, guess what,
Just
Varla?
use
My
it as
second
a
book is being
post-it.
published right now as well, so I'll just send you one.
Ooh, really? That's exciting.
I still haven't finished mine.
Dave, it's just
What?
pictures, man.
Oh, you
I
haven't
don't.
finished
I
reading
can't
it?
draw pictures.
Oh, finish your book.
Oh, I thought he was talking about my
Your book. But he means
It's
his
like, Dave,
book.
it's just pictures in it, Dave.
It
It's
takes
easy to
fucking
read.
forever to write a book, Dave. Plus, aren't you writing
Writing's not
a
fun.
fiction?
No, I kind of put that one on the shelf. I got to finish my own first.
Your own kind of like your own story, your own
Yeah.
sort of like encounter story.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Why Carl's a jerk?
Mm-hmm.
By Dave
Jeff
Scott.
Steve Garvey is here. He'll hit a home run for you on home run derby night. Yes, he will. Autographs for anybody who catches the baseballs.
Wait, are you onto a second one, Phil? Because the other one had like a portal. Didn't you just? Are
It's
you
right
doing
here.
a second one?
That's number one right there.
Yeah. So I haven't finished the second one yet. There was some tomfoolery by the CIA or something that messed with some computers. I'm some going with.
Oh,
Oh, I
tariffs.
just had
We blame
yeah.
tariffs around here.
We blame tariffs for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
They're to blame. Definitely to blame.
I'm gonna do something for you here. Hold on.
I'm glad you're back, Varla.
Thank you. Me too. It's great to be back. I've been looking forward to this all day. Well, all since last weekend or last week when we booked it.
I had some people asking about fairies and everything for their story, and I had to plug your book and everything to them.
Thank you.
It was on X, and they're talking about that. I was like, oh, I'll talk to my friend Varla Ventura and tell her Filthy sent you there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, 10 seconds. Thank you to T-Bone, Walter, and Kitty for the super chats. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis, and here we go. Here comes the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, we want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Varla Ventura has returned to the airwaves of Spaced Out Radio after a 4-month hiatus, successfully defeating cancer. We're so proud of you and so happy that you're back, Varla. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me.
Yeah, we're going to brag about you all night long, by the way.
Yeah, all right. I'm not going to stop you.
Nope, you can't, because I can just mute. I can just mute you, and you're just going to have to take it like a champ.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Take those compliments like a champ. That's right. That's right.
Sit back.
Let's go back to your brand new book. Let's go back to your brand new book that you just brought out, and it's on plants. Why did you choose to talk about the weird, cryptid, spacey side of plants? How did you even find this topic?
Well, I actually am a plant person at first before I'm anything else. My first, real full-time job was in a plant nursery. I worked in horticulture for years. I ran my own gardening business and ran a couple nurseries, one in the Pacific Northwest, one in San Francisco. So I've always had this obsession with plants. And quite frankly, I pitched this book years ago. And it was not met with any favorable response at the time. And over the years, then I kind of started writing about me. I love all things kind of weird, right? So the thing that really got me into it was just how strange plants were, and the strange plant behaviors and the things that rot and smell like death, and rotting corpses, and that they're doing that to attract pollinators. So I kind of got into that aspect of it, which was a different book, which I think is in the works. But again, I just loved this idea of kind of marrying my lifelong obsession with fairy tales and folklore and all of these kind of strange creatures and the realm of the fairies. I've always looked at the realm of the fairies the same way I look at the plant kingdom. There's all of these different classifications. So this is a book that in many ways I've actually been writing for 20 years. It's the book I always wanted to write, and finally convinced someone to publish it, So, but I think the thing for me was to really tie it in with the folklore that's at the core. So every plant has a story behind it. You can learn about that story through the plant's name. It might be the botanical name. It might be the common name. It might be, the specific person who discovered it, and their name is in that Latin name. So there's all of these clues about any plant has this. But I was really trying to find plants that, let me give you an example. Okay. So this kind of was something that I discovered in in researching this book, and it kind of blew my mind a little bit. And I was like, that's exactly what I wanted this book to be about. So the story of Rapunzel starts out with this woman who it develops this insatiable craving for a leafy green vegetable that is growing in the witch's garden, of course, right? And she can see in there. And so she cajoles her husband into sneaking over and taking this plant for her and bringing it back to her. And she makes a salad of it and she eats it up really quickly. And then she needs more. And she basically kind of gets like obsessed with this. And so he goes over the fence once, twice, third time the witch catches him and is like, why are you stealing all of my rampion? This is the plant that is in this bed. It's this leafy green vegetable that was once commonly consumed as a salad green. And so he's like, my wife, she's just making me do this, throws her under the bus. And the witch says, well, don't worry, I won't kill you, but you have to give me your firstborn child. This is the child that gets locked up in the tower in the woods and has to let her hair down. Her name is Rapunzel. The German word for rampion, and remember the Grimm brothers, this story was from Germany and actually predated the Grimm brothers recording of it. It's an old story that was told time and time again. The German word for rampion is Rapunzel. So you wouldn't even have that character's name had it not been for this plant. And so that was like a really good example for me where the story itself, which is such an iconic story. I mean, we all know something of Rapunzel. It actually came from a plant. And that was just sort of the, kind of a pinnacle celebration of how vital plants are in not just like, yeah, we need plants. We need plants to like make oxygen and, great stuff like that. But, eat them and they give us vitamins and stuff. Yes, of course. But just how vital they are to us culturally and just kind of in our, like the lexicon of who we are. So that is what I set out to do, to find the plants that were like that if I were to tell you that plant was a different, if you took that plant away, you don't have the same story. If you take the fact that the plant is named, or the character is named for a plant, you don't even have Rapunzel. Like she might have just been Mary Jane, but because of that plant and the significance of that plant and how good that plant was for you. And also, this woman's craving it because she's already pregnant. And that's the witch knows all of this because witches are all knowing. So it's all a ploy all along, in my opinion. So anyway, that was a good example for me of a story that really sort of was a known story, but we've forgotten about the connection to the plants and the natural world in it.
A lot of plants have different meanings, as you put in your book that's just out. Some of it good, some of it's bad. It surrounds fairy tales and folklore. I mean, the first one that kind of comes to my mind is in The Wizard of Oz, when they're in, poppies. With the poppies and the snowing of asbestos that they are dropping during the making of the movie. Oh, that just can't be healthy. It really can't. But just the idealism that plants do play a vital role in painting a picture of scenes throughout movies and books and setting the tone for what is to come. And I don't think any of us really realize the importance that plants play in storytelling.
I mean, I do, but I do think I do think it's overlooked, and I think plants just as like symbolism. Okay, so here's another one that like kind of came to me after. Okay, so I was at the Culloden battlefield in Scotland, near Inverness, right up in the Highlands. And I was there with my friend. This was a couple of years back. We did our great Scotland trip. It was freaking fantastic. And they were standing there in the Culloden battlefield, and the woman is kind of explaining to us that when, so there was, for people who don't know, there's the Jacobite uprising, which was squelched by, the redcoats. So there was a huge battle right at the Culloden Moors, and thousands of men died within like a very short period of time. It's a really, really bloody battlefield. But anyway, so she's kind of talking to us about how the Jacobites, the symbol of the Jacobites was the white rose, and that people used to walk up. So after the loss at Culloden, Bonnie Prince Billy went into hiding, and then the redcoats were basically kind of trying to purge out this Jacobite uprising. And so they would go around and they would ask people if they were a gardener. And, raise my hands like, why would they ask if they were a gardener? And she said, because the answer was always yes. Everybody had a little cottage garden. So if you answered yes, they could basically just kill you. But then she went on to talk a little bit more about the white rose, the Jacobite rose. And what would happen is people would plant this white rose, and it was a way to show that they were in support of the Jacobites without having any other overt symbol, because that way you protected your family and your land. And so there I am standing there. And now keep in mind, the Culloden battlefield, that took place in the 1600s is when the battle took place. But it was in the 1800s, during the Victorian era, that a man who had purchased the land put in all of the clan stones and built the big cairn in the middle of it. And then eventually there was like, now there's like a visitor center and stuff explaining what happened there. So that was the Victorian era. So I'm standing there, and all I can think of is painting your roses red. That's the only thing I can think of. Now, keep in mind, I default to Alice in Wonderland. Like 90% of my general thoughts during the day default to Alice in Wonderland. So it wasn't unusual for me to have that thought. And then there's many theories on Lewis Carroll and who he was critiquing. Some of it says, there was a lot of the whole off with your head, and he had Henry VIII constantly executing all of his wives. So there was some veiled commentary, but he also would have been very aware in the 1800s, because there was a resurgence of interest in what happened 200 years ago on that battlefield. And so therefore I drew the conclusion that, when he came up with that line, painting the roses red, it was actually in reference to the Jacobites, people painting over the roses so that they wouldn't be killed. Now that just kind of happened, partly from like a thought that came to my mind. And then I went on to do some contextual research. And so, roses appear in almost every fairy tale. That roses are like so iconic, but that was a little bit of a different exploration of like what a rose might mean. And there was a darker side too, when Sleeping Beauty goes into her 100-year sleep, a whole bramble of roses grows up around the castle. And I think like in the Disney version, you kind of see like these beautiful roses and stuff going. In the original one, there's like dead bodies and like skeletons and carcasses stuck in the rose bushes, because they've grown so thick and no one can get through them, and they die trying. So fun.
Many of the flowers out there, they do signify, death, carnage, the darker side that I know and love on things. I mean, whether it's an apple given by, the witch, or whether it's, you look at holly at Christmas time. What does it have? Poisonous berries on it. There's many plants out there that do signify spells and witchery and sorcery that go along with that. It really shows that these plants can really, what's the word I'm looking for? They can really push the ethics of darkness as well.
Oh, well, there's a very interesting thing that came about when I was writing the chapter, The Witch's Garden, which the Witch's Garden, of course, is all of the most poisonous plants. But remember, the poisonous plants also are the ones with the medicine. So this is where you've got foxglove, right? Digitalis. Well, digitalis is made to this day. There's a drug called digoxin, which is a derivative from digitalis, and that prevents heart attacks and treats people with arrhythmia. Um, some of the belladonna, atropa belladonna, that this is deadly nightshade. This today you get a synthesized drop in your eyes called like tropamine, and this is to dilate your eyes. This is derived from deadly nightshade, and the very reason we call it belladonna is because women used to squeeze some of the juice into their eyes to dilate their eyes and give them this like very luminous appeal, especially in Italian court in the 1600s. So there's this whole like amazing selection of poisonous plants that have all the significance for us today as medicine. But that's, you know, often kind of looked at as something negative. But the whole part in Macbeth where it's like eye of newt and toe of dog, and there's the witches are doing their spell and they're adding in bubble, bubble, toil and trouble, cauldron, burn and fire, bubble, and they're putting in all their ingredients. So, and I have it in the book, but basically, the theory is that these are not actually a toe of newt or an eye of newt and the toe of a dog. Just as some of the old recipes would call for certain things, and it would say the fat of a newborn baby. No one put the fat of a newborn baby in there. These are code words. There are code words for other things because one, if you were caught, um, people would call you a witch and they would kill you. But two, it was a way of protecting the plants and protecting the medicine so that people didn't get poisoned. So these recipes were actually like that is all somewhat innocuous ingredients like meadowsweet. It was a way of making this concoction, and you see that all the time. And if you look back now, of course, you have to speculate based on, whatever kind of contextual evidence you can find. You have to speculate because the whole point was to keep it so completely underground you would never get caught, and the only person who would know would be another witch, and she would never tell because she also wants to be able to pass these ingredients around, especially during a time when the thought of doing anything, being accused of a witch actually could end. You could mean sudden death, right? You'd be tried and hung or drowned or burned at the stake. Or we're talking specifically in in Europe during the in Ireland, the UK, and then throughout Europe from 1400 to about 1940. You could be accused of a witch. So long battle there. You got to keep things underground. But I just thought that was very cool to think of it that way. So if you're ever reading an old sort of spell like I saw some that called for in the Malleus Maleficarum, if anyone's familiar with that. It's basically just the church's description of all things demonic and witchy. But it is a very interesting record of the times. And there's all kinds of recipes in there. And if you know what you're looking at, boom, you got a flying ointment. You just have to know what it means,
I want to ask you about like carnivorous plants, like Venus flytraps
Yeah.
or other plants of that ilk. What do they define?
Okay, so first of all, they have this very unique property to them. And the reason they're called carnivorous plants is because they actually consume insects or, animal species if they're small enough. And the way that they do that is they actually secrete like an enzyme that slowly breaks the insect's body down. But even worse than that, they produce a nectar that's so enticing to said insects that they can't help but come and land on them. Now, the Venus flytrap closes around the insect, but the pitcher plants are really the most vicious ones. And we have native pitcher plants all over North America. I know you have them in British Columbia because I've seen them there growing in the forests, bogs of these like cobra lilies, and they're massive. And what they are basically like a big tube, and inside the tube is all of this nectar, super enticing nectar. So insects, bees, all kinds of, not just like flies, but anything that will come in there. Sometimes a giant butterfly or even a dragonfly might go in there. And they go in to sip this delicious nectar, and there are hairs on the inside of the pitcher, and they all slant downwards, and they're covered in the nectar. So the insect goes in, and they can't climb back out. They can climb in, no problem, or they can fly in, but they can't climb back out because it's literally all pointed downward. And then there's a collection of water at the bottom. So basically the insect goes in, gets really full, can't get out, tries to get out, keeps trying to get out. It's like a horror movie, slides down, ends up in this little puddle of water at the bottom, drowns, and then the plant secretes an enzyme that slowly kind of like extracts just sort of like mushes up the insect, and then is able to draw those nutrients back into the plant for everlasting life.
I love it. I love it. 2.5 minutes to go here. Let's get into marshes and bogs, because there's a lot of marshy areas around my area when you go into the forest. And that usually means moose territory, but it may have a different meaning when it comes to cryptids.
I love a good bog. I do love a good bog. So one of my favorite places on earth is a nice walkable bog. Well, there are so many creatures associated with. I mean, you've got everything from like the Jenny Green Teeth, Peg Powler. These are both sort of like entities that dwell beneath the water, often depicted as nothing more than like a sort of a lumpy wave with a lot of greens growing over them. But if you get too close, they like to reach their long, gnarly arms out and snatch you and bring you down into the bog and drown you and keep you there forever with them. So they are these sort of like menacing, there's a few menacing bog or swampy type creatures. But if you think about it, like a proper bog, if you've ever actually like walked on a bog, which I have, and I suspect that they probably shouldn't let us be doing that, but you can walk on, it feels like you're walking on water and you're kind of walking on this really dense amount of like peat or whatever the kind of like organic matter is there. And one wrong step in either direction and you just plop right down into the water. My favorite bog story that has always haunted me is the girl who trod on a loaf. And that's the story of a little girl who doesn't want to spoil her shoes. And so she throws down this perfectly good loaf of bread that she's supposed to be bringing to her grandparents. And as soon as she steps on it, she sinks down into the bog and is basically frozen in this bog with like the, bog wife and the bog king, and it's just this horrifying existence. And then I think eventually like the tears of some Christian child frees her or something, I guess. I don't like the ending. I'd put a different twist on it myself, but that story always haunted me. This little girl just suspended and stuck beneath the water in this murky water, not dead, but not really alive, just sort of frozen in time beneath the boggy waters.
Well, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Varla Ventura, Enchanted Plants, a treasury of botanical folklore and magic. We will talk more about this book when we return on Spaced Out Radio. VarlaVentura.net is her website. So glad to have her back. Feels just This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right. Do you want to hang out with Dirty Filth, or would you like to take a break?
Yeah, I'll hang out with Phil. I'm good on the break.
All right. Let's move Dirty Filth right to the forefront here. Hello, Dirty.
Hello, Dave. Hello, Varla.
Hello.
Hi.
Can I see my I love you note again? Aw, I love you too.
Oh, thanks, pal. You're the best. I love you. Can I tell you about my... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, can I tell you quickly about my favorite water creature, spirit type thing? It's the Vodnik.
Oh, the Vodnik.
Yes. So I don't have to tell you too much, but for anybody else that hasn't ever heard of the Vodnik, that's terrible English, who's never heard of the Vodnik, it's a Slavic being that if you go too close to the water, the Vodnik will steal you, take your soul into the water, and keep your soul in little jars. And sometimes a soul will escape the jar. And that's why if you see a still puddle of water and a bubble comes up, that's a soul escaping the jar from the Vodnik. I think that's the general idea of it. I found it in a old board game thing like 20 some odd years ago and thought it was really neat. Anyways, go ahead, Varla.
Oh, well, the one I love that's similar to that is the Rusalisk. And that's, again, Slavic, it's Russian folklore, and it's the same kind of thing, but it's in a flowing river. Ooh. So less so in the still body of water, but in a flowing river. And it reaches out and snatches people from the riverbank and takes them with her. I think it's a female entity. Ooh. And there's this great you might, I don't know how much you like to read like fiction or like fantasy, and I actually, believe it or not, don't love reading fantasy, but there is this series that is steeped in Slavic folklore, and it's really beautifully written. And I can only remember the second book. It's called like The Bear and the Nightingale, or maybe that's the first book. But it's this girl she can see all of there's a vampire that's in the woods. She can hear the Rusalisk, and she can talk to like the house elf that's in the house, but she's not really allowed to. And she doesn't have any power really, because she's just this like young, poor girl. And it's just it's very, very dark, but very, very interesting. It's got a lot of, as far as I can tell, it's, the authentic Slavic lore.
If you ever remember, you gotta let me know, because I like fantasy.
I'll text
favorite
you
fantasy deal.
Oh, yeah, let me find it. I'll find it right now.
My favorite fantasy series is the Malazan Book of the Fallen. Terribly difficult to get into. Notoriously, people just either love it or they hate it. And I'm one of those dorks that just plugs it every chance I get. So,
okay, I know that one of the books is called The Bear and the Nightingale, but let me tell you the name of the author, because it's a really lovely.
Doug Shelby says he loves you too, Varla. Aww. We love you, which is probably everybody. Everybody get in line and give Varla a hug.
Yeah. Oh, I wish we were all hugging in real life right now, but I appreciate the virtual hugs. I can feel it. So nice to be back. Okay. It's called, the author's name is Catherine Arden, Arden. And it's actually called the Winter Night Trilogy. And I think
I'm going to spend a bunch of money.
Yeah, I think. Well, and actually, the Bear and the Nightingale is only $9 on Amazon right now. I think this is the first one. Yeah, the Bear and the Nightingale is book 1, and then the next one is called The Girl in the Tower, and the third one is called The Winter of the Witch. And I've only read the Bear and the Nightingale, but if you get it and you read it, let's chat. because
Deal.
it's beautifully written.
I need a new series to read anyways, because I'm just rereading The Black Company over again. So, or terrible
I
fantasy
just
stuff. I mean.
finished a really badass. I'm actually halfway through the third book in this really badass trilogy. That it's this woman. Actually, she's a Minnesota-based writer. Her name is Marcy Rendon, and she's White Earth, Anishinaabe. And her stories are about, they're like this character named Cash Black Bear, and she's this really, really badass, like young indigenous woman in the 70s, like during the early 70s, like during the Vietnam War era. And she has this ability to like sense and solve crimes. And she's friends with the sheriff through this whole kind of like backstory. And yeah, it's pretty amazing, and they're all set in like Fargo and Moorhead, Minnesota. It's very just a great
I wonder if
series.
Spookles makes an appearance.
Okay, wait, is your piece done? Sorry, you were doing like a hand thing and I just was blathering on.
I was
We got
showing
about
Bob
10
Perkins.
Okay, I
gotta
seconds,
go.
guys.
Love you, Varla.
Love you
10
too.
seconds.
Love you too,
Thank
Dave.
you, Dirty.
Bye.
You're the best. Dirty Filth, everybody. Here we go with hour
best.
2. He's awesome.
I should have put lips.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Yes, we appreciate you tuning us on in as we are here for Varla Ventura, varlaventura.net, her website. And we want to say hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do you got for us, Clam? Nabolytic. Nabolytic is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Back after 4 months away, recovering from cancer treatment, we are so proud that she has made it and beat it, and now she's back. Varla Ventura returns, the queen of the cryptids, and her brand new book that she has out could be found in any major bookstore or online on Amazon or her website, varlaventura.net. Enchanted Plants, a treasury of botanical folklore and magic. Varla, welcome back.
Thank you. I missed you while you were gone.
Well, we all missed you too. So we're glad that you're
No, I mean
here.
like just on your break there. I was missing
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that too. Missed you there too. Before we get to your book, I got to ask you a cryptid question.
Okay.
What is your
Seriously.
thoughts on hearing voices in the forest?
I like it. What's happened to me?
So Tim and I
Yeah.
were out at Area 51. No, we were at Flight
Your own
21.
version.
Yeah, we were at our Flight 21 investigative place. And 2 weeks ago, we started hearing voices, very monotone voices. Started off with a woman's voice saying, "Help me. I'm over here. Can you come here? Help me. I'm over here." And then eventually a male voice joined in saying, "Help us. We're over here. Help us." And the voices started to move. So if we're sitting at 12 o'clock if you're looking at a clock, if we're sitting at 12 o'clock, the voices started at about 4 o'clock. We don't know how far away they were, but they sounded pretty far away. And then they started moving to about 3 o'clock. And where I knew it wasn't human was when I heard, and Tim didn't hear it, I did, when the woman's voice said, "I love you.
Oh.
Help us." Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
What
but
do you think that
did you
was?
both hear those voices?
Yes.
Oh.
They
Yeah,
were quiet
that
enough where
sounds to me like something's trying to lure you into the woods and, eat your brain.
we did not
Or just
go.
capture your soul and drag you into, the other world or something.
I've seen way too much David Politis work and talk to people like you, knowing that chasing after those voices, we'd have never been seen again.
I mean, the thing is, the monotone part. Like, if a woman's really in distress, it's not going to be like, help me. I mean, okay, it could be like some sort of, spirit that's like trapped or whatever, but doesn't feel like that. It feels like something's, throwing its voice. You know what I mean? Like there's some sort of impersonation going on there. Trying, especially, I mean, if the man's voice came in after a while, it's like, okay, well, the woman's not doing it, so let's try the man's voice. But you both heard it. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to hear that. And even I would probably not follow it.
It went on for
How did you feel when it was happening?
absolutely terrified.
I bet.
I will tell you right now,
It sounds
as
really
I said on the video, my butt was puckered tight. Okay. And Tim was like, I will say this about Tim. I looked at Tim because when those voices, and they just kept going. And I looked at Tim and I said, do you think we should skip the Estes method and get out of here? Because I knew we were in a safe place because the voices were far away.
Mm.
And he's like, no. He goes, let's do the Estes method, like totally calm down my emotions. And he's like, no, let's just do the Estes method. Let's see what we get. And then afterwards, let's pack up and we'll call it the night after that. So it was nice and calming influence that Tim brought, and I appreciated him for that. Now, while he was under the Estes method, the voices moved from 3 o'clock over to 11 o'clock, but closer.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, they were still a far ways away in the woods, but we were not going there. And when we went back this past Saturday, we didn't. It was a totally different feeling again. Like every time we go there, it is a completely different feeling. And so I don't know what's happening next. I can tell you this, though, and Tim and I will be going back this Saturday coming up. We have a special friend of mine who's coming with us, and I'm curious how this is going to play out.
Mm.
But her name is Lolly. She is First Nations. And she is going to bring a drum with her. And we are going to experiment out there with the drum and her singing native songs.
Oh.
And I'm very curious to see what happens with that when we're out there.
Yeah. Me too. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And of course, everything will be on film. And we want to say a big thank you to everybody. I'm going to give a shameless plug here for a second, but everybody who has, I can't believe the video's been viewed 8,000 times, our last video. Like, I'm blown away by that. It doesn't sound like a lot of views compared to, you see some of these videos on YouTube that, millions upon millions of views. But for me, us getting 8,000, like Tim and I are like
wow.
high-fiving almost every day watching the numbers go up on that, right? I just wish the numbers would go up on the rest of them, but on that one in particular,
Eventually they will. Yeah.
they will,
They'll catch
you know,
up.
and Tim is, I know, diligently trying to get something going so we have something to present from episode 6 on that coming up here in just a little bit. But the voices, what do you think it was?
Well, I mean, again, it sounds like it was something trying to lure you. So it makes me think that it was, I mean, I don't think it was like a Bigfoot or anything like that. I don't think that that's how that I think they're not going to like try and, I don't know. It sounds like some sort of ghostly entity, honestly. Why do you call it Flight 21? Is there a crash there?
It's a plane crash site.
Yeah, so it could be the spirits of the people who died in that plane crash.
No.
You don't think so?
It had a totally different feeling.
Like a trickery feeling?
Yes. Like it felt like we were being lured.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned quickly earlier that you've felt that before or you've heard that before?
So, I have been in the woods and heard voices. And I have actually been in the woods. One time we were camping in an old growth forest, which was like magnificent in Kings Canyon in California. And in the middle of the night, I heard what I initially thought was one of the, it was a bunch of us camping there, like maybe 10 of us. And I initially thought it was one of the women, one of the girls that was camping with us, calling out. I can't remember if she was just kind of saying like, hey, I don't think she was saying help me, but it was like, hey. And after a while, it changed. Like the tone changed a little bit when no one responded to it. And when the tone changed, I was like, that doesn't actually sound like her. And being the brave young girl that I was, I actually got up and sort of like, we didn't even like all sleep in tents. We were like these crazy kids that would just like put our sleeping bags down in like the middle of the forest. And I just kind of like looked around and with the, little flashlight against my palm so I wasn't blinding anyone, and made sure that everybody was like where they were supposed to be. I mean, I didn't care if people were out there making out in the woods, but that's not what it sounded like, So, so I don't know what that was, but once I saw everyone, I just sort of went back on my sleeping bag and it was like no sudden movements, right? Like just don't go out there. So I had that happen. I've also been in the woods and heard voices that were actually really helpful. And I got lost one time, and just kind of got like turned around on a path and separated from a couple people that I was with. And I heard voices, like I heard something say, we'll go, go left and then, stand still or whatever it was. And that kind of guided me. And then I've heard just straight up like, okay, one time this was not in the woods. This was actually the only thing that was maybe like kind of like closer to what you experienced. But one time I was lying in bed, and it was not long after I moved into this house. And I heard a voice say my name, and it sounded like someone was standing outside my window. And I was not asleep. I was like laying down in my bedroom. And I heard, but it was, like 1 a.m. or something. And I heard this voice say my name really, really clearly, to the point where I got up and kind of peered out the window because it sounded like someone was literally, but I didn't really know anyone. So I didn't know how that could be, but it was just like, why is somebody standing outside my window at 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. saying my name? And, I just kind of opened the crack of the window a little bit, and it was dead silent out there, completely, nothing. So I laid back down, and, so you got a kid in the house and you're kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go do all the locks. Heard it again. Second time I was like, hell no, I am not getting up. I'm like, no way. I don't care what that is. If that's actually someone who knows me, they can text me. Right? Like I'm not falling for this. And so I still don't know what that was, but it definitely did not feel human. I mean, if
It
it was
is
human, it was
eerie.
predatorial, and that's not good.
It is eerie when you like. Thank God they didn't call my name. You know,
Oh,
or
that if
Tim's
they
name.
do, yeah, then they're like real desperate.
Well, when Tim was in the Estes method, he actually, a spirit actually spoke my name and said, "I know you from your dreams."
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
cool.
No,
I
didn't
don't think
like
that's
that.
cool. Why? I think
Yeah,
that's
I don't
great.
know. Tim still hasn't admitted that he may have made that up himself in order to scare the
There
bejesus
you
out of
go.
me, but
Why
I
is
don't
that
think he did that.
scary? I don't think that's scary. I think that's cool.
You're not in the middle of the forest waiting for creatures to come out of the trees at you. It's cool if it's at home or something where you're in a controlled environment.
Okay, but you're putting yourself in that environment, Dave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are.
I mean, oh my goodness.
There's Tim in the chat room. Dave, no likey. Oh yeah, it's pretty wild though. I mean, we're having so much fun
But it's
doing
cool
this.
that it's saying that it's knows you from your dreams. That means that you have some other kind of like, another connection with whatever this is. And you just have to think about what does that mean? What dreams? You've got a lot of dreams, I'm sure. Or maybe
Well,
it's
if I could
peeping
remember
you.
my dreams, it would be all right.
It's probably peeping you. It's probably like, yeah, you should probably learn to lucid dream so stuff isn't just like climbing in from behind you when you're not paying attention.
Right?
Yeah, no, really though. I say that jokingly, but it's true. So
Well, you know what? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I'm so behind the times. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna watch every single video now. I've been like under a rock for the last 4 months. So now I'm gonna go and catch up and find out all the goods and the what are we calling it? Area 21. I think we should call
Flight
it Area
21.
21.
Flight
Call it Area
21.
21.
Shameless plug on our YouTube channel once again. It's called Secrets of the Forest
Mm.
on our YouTube channel. So you can go check it out there. Let's get back to your book here. Okay. Because you do have a brand new book. If you're just tuning in, Varla Ventura's new book, Enchanted Plants, A Treasury of Botanical Folklore and Magic. Now, there are certain places out there, like we were just talking about, that you mentioned in your book, like the woods. The woods can be, and forests can be absolutely scary. And
To the untrained eye and ear, yes.
here's a couple of instances that I've had in the forest, and I'm out in the forest every week,
Mm-hmm.
but I am still no expert, not even close to being an expert. But if we take away the wild animals that are there, when you are in a forest and all of a sudden you feel eyes all around you, like you were being watched, like when we went in this past Saturday, the first thing we noticed was it felt like we were being watched and surrounded by all sorts of beings and creatures that could have
Oh,
been
you
there.
are being watched. You are absolutely being watched. I mean, every time you enter a forest, you're being watched. You don't think so. You think you're the, you know, trailblazer watching everything else. And every animal or creature within, a 50-mile radius is aware of your presence because humans are loud and obnoxious. We don't think we are. We think we're all stealth, but we are loud and obnoxious, and everything knows we're there, no matter how careful you are. They can smell you, for God's sake, right? Like they can, like supersonic smelling. But that's part of the, the instinct to survive, right? You're walking through the forest, and all of a sudden the birds stop. It's like, oh, they're on to you.
It is pretty intimidating when you think about it. It's very intimidating to be able to all of a sudden realize that you're not the big kid on campus, that there are much bigger things out there watching you, and the way the forest reacts to people, like in our area where we're investigating, around the crash site there are no birds.
Mm.
The crash out on the outside of the crash site, the birds are chirping, they're doing their thing, they're flying, they're cawing, they're doing whatever birds do. But inside this, it's like there's this dome that birds don't go into,
Mm.
or they're quiet. Maybe it's for the sake of the bodies or the spirits. Don't know. But
They're like, we're not going in there.
But whether it's the birds or whether it's the chipmunks and squirrels, which are nature's security alarm, that when something strange or big comes in, they start going off to let out all the other animals know. I mean, it's intimidating.
I mean, I was kind of raised in the woods, as you may recall, a heathen child raised in the woods. So I don't know if I don't know if I feel intimidated so much as there's certainly places that I have held in a greater reverence than others. There was one forest actually in Oregon that I did not like and I could not get out of fast enough. But it had a murdery vibe to me. It didn't have a cryptid, something's watching you. It had a someone dragged a young woman here and murdered her kind of vibe. And I had that for me was very different than because it's the humans that I fear, not the supernatural creatures. It's the, dude in the van in the parking lot who's a lot scarier than 8-foot hairy beast. Sounds like a welcome relief, honestly.
Well, could be, and I agree with you. I mean, I think that there are a number of times where humans are a little bit more scary. Absolutely. I would totally agree with you on that.
However, voices calling you for help in the middle of the forest that you're both hearing, that does sound pretty scary, Dave. It does.
It is a little trippy. It is a little trippy.
But you're going back. So it wasn't that scary.
Well, I think,
you're
there
brave,
was some
you're
question.
Foolish, all of the above.
Well, I mean, the way things change around there, Varla, it's you never know what you're going to get on a night-to-night basis there.
Yeah.
I mean, every time is different. So all I know is that if I hear voices in the forest again, I am not going. Not at all.
No.
Especially if they are monotone voices.
No,
in
you
one
mustn't.
tone.
Even if
No.
they're very enticing, even if they were melodic, especially if they were melodic, definitely don't go for the melodic. I mean, that is like, that's the quintessential ploy right there.
Is that more like sirens?
Yeah, you could be. Yeah, sure. There could be some sort of, if you don't fall for the monotone, you fall for the enchanted call of the wood nymph.
Hold right there. Varla Ventura, we have her for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio. Her website, varlaventura.net. Her new book, Enchanted Plants, A Treasury of Botanical Folklore and Magic. You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. All right, we are clear.
I was trying to like stay frozen, like as if the
Right?
the picture had frozen.
So far, Tim's my cameraman. I'm just the guy. I don't know why he doesn't want to be on camera as much as I have to force him to be on camera. And he's much prettier than I am. That's the sad part. Much prettier. Yes, you are, Timmy. Give him a little wave there, But he caught what we think is I showed you the potential Bigfoot picture.
Yeah.
Of the face in the tree.
Now, when he was taking that picture, did he take that picture just at random? Like sometimes you'll just take a bunch of pictures and just see what comes out, or did he like sense something and take the picture?
Nope, just took a picture.
Photos. Yeah.
Just taking photos. And we've tried to recreate that a couple of times. And we can't do it.
Yeah.
We found the tree. We know exactly which trees it was in. But
Sasquatch don't do like voice throwing things though. I mean, they wouldn't talk in like a human voice, right?
No, I don't think I thought honestly it was either the little people, a Wendigo, or a skinwalker that was there.
Yeah, something that is basically trying to intimidate you from okay, so I know that there's like a lot of theories about those things, but I think there's a protective element and a passage element, right? Like, are you there to like harm the forest and them?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not, but you got to prove that. Not by following the voices.
No. But you do have to stand your ground.
But by returning and continuing to do what you're doing, but in a respectful manner. Yeah. How far is that from like your house? And also, do you use any protection when you go there?
Yes, we always carry condoms with us.
That's not foolproof.
Things get through, I know. But I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I asked. I think it was implied.
We brought black obsidian with us, and Tim wondered if that's the reason why we may not have had as much happen when we were there on Saturday. Because
it absorbs negativity and it absorbs things. Yeah. I mean, so that's the tricky thing. Like you don't, it's like people always want to like throw down salt, and it's like, you're actually repelling a lot of things. I know that's your point, to repel things, but sometimes you're repelling like the things you actually want to make contact with.
I think we must go au naturel next time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not even going to shave.
I was going to say something, but I don't want to get you kicked off of YouTube or whatever.
Andromedan, how you doing? But let's see. We found footprints. We may have found a handprint. The weirdest one, hi Lacey Blue. One of the weirdest ones was Tim's wife came up with us, and she lost her ID up there, and we weren't even going to go into this one area that one night. I just had a feeling let's just go up there, and it was right by our original gifting tree. And as we're walking up, literally the ID is sitting right there, and Tim and I are both convinced that she did not even go in that area.
What do you mean the original gifting tree?
I set up a gifting site there back in 2020.
Where you could leave offerings to the forest?
No, to the Sasquatch there.
Okay.
Yeah. And her ID was found right by that tree. Like, it's
Oh.
just a little too coincidental. The ID fell out of her pocket.
But she wasn't by the gifting tree that you know
No.
of.
Well, we were in that area, but where her ID was found, we did not see her go there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was
And we
nice of
had
them to return it.
Yeah. So we moved our gifting site back to that area. Tim and I will go into it in hour 3 here. Varla, hold on right there. I want to say a big thank you to Natasha, T-Bone, my man, Walter, and Kitty for the super chats. Greatly appreciate the love. Don't forget you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. Why, Tim? That's right. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. Radio Indigo, how you doing? Here we go. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. We have Varla Ventura till the top of the hour. My name is Dave Scott. Good to have you with us. We're having a lot of fun in Varla's return to the mighty SOR. Want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here she is, Varla Ventura, great author, great researcher, and now cancer survivor. Congratulations again, Varla, for that.
Thank you.
Yes, we're bragging about you
party.
today.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
we
it.
We are totally bragging. Yes, we are. And
you can take credit.
A few claps.
You can take credit for that survival.
Just a few claps for you. Right there. I might start a wave later. Just
I missed my cue. Sorry. I'm terrible at the wave.
Yeah. You never want to be the guy who starts the wave. It's fun to participate in the wave, but you never want to be the guy who starts it.
No.
Don't be that guy. If you're at a sporting event, it's great to do the wave.
No, you let the announcer and the, kind of, oh, we're going to do the wave or something like that. But you don't want to be the heel that starts it.
Yeah. I got a buddy of mine who started the wave when he was 15 one time at a Canucks game. And I still razz him for that. I said, you don't want to be that guy. He's like, I was 15. I said, it doesn't matter. That's a lifelong of embarrassment and harassment.
From me, specifically.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's the thing, too. It depends on what sporting event. I feel like, baseball, people are starting the wave left and right, and no one's paying any attention. But at a hockey game, no, you do not want to be the person who starts the wave. Mm-hmm. Ooh, unless you're a parent and you want to embarrass your kids. Now that might be a new, I think we're going to do that this year. Just the right age, 14. Perfect.
Time to get him.
My mom started the wave. Yeah, your mom's so cool.
Right? Let's get to some audience questions here.
Okay.
Start off with Carrie. Is there a dark or demonic connection to carnivorous plants that you know of?
Well, I think that they've gotten a bit of a bad rap because they, we sort of think of Seymour and Little Shop of Horrors, where you give him you give him a little bit of blood and then he thrives. Now, I do know people who have given carnivorous plants their own blood. But I mean, they're hungry, right? They need that. It's either that or trap a fly. I think for me, when I think about carnivorous plants and what kind of sort of more mystical or magical lesson that they might have for us, it's really, to me, it speaks to adaptability. And these plants have evolved in a way to sort of outsmart their environment. And many of them live in these pretty intense environments. And so I kind of think of it as yeah, maybe a little sinister, but it's a sinister evolution that has served them well. So I think as humans, we could learn a few things from that, just about resilience and adaptability, and this not working, so try this. And also, sometimes they have to drown your victims.
Hmm. Very
You
true.
have no choice, okay?
What about vines?
Ooh, do you know what my favorite vine is?
Hmm.
The strangler fig. It's a ficus, just like the fig that you might eat, or the Ficus benjamina that is in every office building across North America. It's a ficus, but it's actually this vine, and what it does is it um, produces fruits that are enticing enough to small birds that birds eat them. They break down the outside of these little, like, tiny, they're not figs so much, but they're these little ficus berries. And then the birds poop them out on, like, the branch of a tree, right? And it happens to generally be a tree that is a little bit on the decline. It's a little sickly. So somehow the ficus sprouts kind of know to sprout around or within, energetically a tree that's struggling. Maybe it's got a fungus or it's kind of on its way out. It's got some other kind of disease. And so essentially the strangler fig, it just grows around the host tree, which then becomes sort of a carcass, and it suffocates it, it strangles it, it gets all of its light and nutrients, but it's a vine, so it uses it as a structure. So it kind of just becomes its like giant steak, it's just giant like tomato cage. And it slowly also suffocates the like it'll be like a banyan tree or something that's really big. And this is particularly common in the very competitive rainforest environment where there are nutrients don't go super deep in the soil, so there's this huge competition for whatever there is there, and that's what things grow very fast, trying to reach up toward the light. But the strangler fig is so sinister because it's kind of lovely, and if you saw it in the natural environment, you would think like, oh, what a cool vine, what a strange vining tree that is, how beautiful. And really what's happening is it's slowly suffocating the tree underneath it. The tree is its victim. So that's a cool vine. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, I mean, vines are kind of creepy, though. I mean, the way they climb up castle walls and the way they wrap themselves around, camouflaging what's behind, they just seem very ominous.
I have right now, I don't have the greatest garden this year because, spring comes on suddenly, and that I would just kind of cashed out in all of April. But what I do have going is this big pot where I put a bunch of morning glory seeds and moonflower seeds, so that they will vine up over this archway that I have. And I love planting those things together because, you get the moonflowers that bloom at night, and then you get the morning glories that open in the morning. And those things have just started to take off. And there's something about the way that they have this like strangling, twisting element. And some vines actually have like suckers and thorns that stick into things. It's quite impressive. It's a lot of stick-to-itiveness.
Let's get to another question from our audience here. Let's go to Walter. Varla, did you like the book Green Mansions?
Green Mansions. Is that I kind of want to say that's a Daphne. Is that a Daphne du Maurier book? I'm not sure if
no idea.
I'm not sure if I know that book.
Let's move on to the next one. Let's go to Jules.
I'll look it up.
Have you ever heard of the phenomena taking stones right out of your jewelry? I can't count how many times I've visited prehistoric earthworks, and the stones are gone from my rings like they want it.
Wow. That's not ever happened to me. Stones have gone missing in, more in my house, things that I thought were perfectly intact, and I just chalked that up to, cheap jewelry more than anything. But I've not heard of that. That's very interesting. I have had, however, not necessarily it coming right out of jewelry, but I have had significant things disappear, um, at a really sacred place, like a certain, like whatever I'm carrying, like a chunk of, I don't know, amethyst or something around with me. And then this happened to me in Ireland several times where things just like they weren't where I thought they were, and then I never located them again. Little coin or a stone that I brought there, not something I had taken from there. So yeah, I mean, there's places have energy. Places have their own identity, and if something wants something, yeah, I mean that they want it, they can take it. And I would keep track of what things those are, though, and where, because I'd love to see that list. Actually, Julie, I would love to see that list. That would be very interesting, and do some comparative. If people have that happen. Oh, I lost a garnet repeatedly in Amsterdam. I did lose a
No,
garnet in Amsterdam, but I was drunk.
no, not you.
Not me.
Going back to the scenario of what was happening with Tim and I,
Yeah.
T-Bone is asking through Radio Wendigo that it might be a puckwudgie being involved. What do you know about puckwudgies?
Well, I thought puckwudgies were more in the northeast of like the United States, and kind of up into just the very southern part of northeast of Canada. But I don't know. I've never heard it, because you guys are all the way over on the other side of the country. I mean, I guess maybe puckwudgie might just be another term for little people, right? But they are essentially little people that live in the forests of New England. So it certainly could be a little bit mischievous, not necessarily dangerous, but mischievous and protective. All those trickster creatures have an agenda, and that's to cull. They're culling
What are they culling?
the worthy. They're culling the worthy from the unworthy, in my opinion.
Well, that doesn't sound positive.
Well, you'll find out if you're worthy, won't ya? Don't worry, Dave, you're worthy.
Could be. Could
Yeah,
be.
you'll find out.
Well,
I mean, I don't know if I'm worthy. I don't know what would happen to me, but we could find out.
well, man. Let me ask you this: like, let's.
More audience questions.
Well, we're through audience questions right now. We are through audience questions. So let me ask you this, getting back to your great book that you have out called Enchanted Plants, a Treasury of Botanical Folklore and Magic. Are there creatures out there that follow around certain plants, like maybe the gnomes or the little people, or even the puckwudgies that we were just talking about?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think initially we might think of like the flower fairies. There are certain like sort of small fairy-like creatures. Frankly, I think there could also be pollinators that are kind of found within like certain flower gardens. But yeah, I mean, the biggest one that springs to mind are all of the like kind of sylvanic entities that dwell in the woods and in the heart of like the elder tree is a great one. Elder trees tend to have usually a female spirit within them, often referred to as the elder mother. And it's said that if you have an elder tree growing on your property, The elder mother, actually, that tree looks out for the whole garden. If you want to have a thriving, happy, healthy garden or orchard or whatever, you need an elder tree, and you actually need to be sure to ask permission of that elder tree if you want any of the berries or the flowers for the tea. Elderberries are wonderful for you, especially if you're sick in the winter. You can make something in the late summer that you can consume later that is really good for chest congestion. Super high in antioxidants. They're lovely little like dark little berries. The leaves are healthy. The wood is good for, spell casting and all kinds of stuff. So, but there's thought, and this is, the elders, you've got elders that are native to Europe as well as North America. And this is a very common theme of this sort of like strong female entity within a specific tree. The oak tends to be associated more with a male, like a male kind of like dryad or some kind of like, it's like a king, really, that sort of oversees the forest and overlooks the forest. And you think about the energy of like a mighty oak and how it does sort of lord over the space, and its acorns drop and its leaves drop, and it creates this sort of different canopy beneath it. The tannins sort of like kill off a lot of the brambles and things, and it's just sort of got this nice big shady spot. So it has this like grandness to it. So I think like trees in particular have the most associations, and you see this like, you see it in Greek mythology, you see it in indigenous cultures, you see it just in like walking through the forest. And it's interesting too, because with trees, you have probably more than anything else, you have the same, you'll have like the same plant family or the same species, but it's not the same species. So for example, there's pine trees that are indigenous to, southern Italy, and then there's pine trees that are indigenous to Alaska, right? And they're like different kinds, but they're all kind of in that pine family. By the way, Pinocchio is made of pine. So pine is actually an enchanted wood. Pinon or Pinocchio, it means little pine tree in Italian. So he's actually he's literally carved from an enchanted plant that like came to life and could talk. And there are several stories like that about. Have you ever heard the story of Little Otik? It's a Slavic story.
No, fill us in on that one.
Oh, that's a log that comes to life. It's very Pinocchio-like. And it's basically, a little old lady and a little old man living in the woods, and they so want a child, but they can't seem to have a child. And so he sort of gets this log and he kind of carves it into a baby and wraps it up, and they care for it, and kind of she carries it around, and then they lay it down in its little carriage, and then they wake up the next morning and it's awake, it's alive, it becomes real. Only it doesn't really become a human. It just sort of becomes this like alive log, creepy boy thing that grows really fast and kind of torments them. It's a dark story, Lotek. There's a filmmaker named Jan Svankmajer. Have you ever heard of him? I know people out there are going to be like, oh my God, Jan Svankmajer, I love him. But he did all of these like creepy stop animation films in the, I guess more in the, 90s is when I saw it, 90s, maybe even early 2000s. He did a really creepy version of Alice in Wonderland and a really creepy version of Faust. And he did a version of of this log story, this Little Otek story, and it's absolutely terrifying, but probably more accurate than most retellings. Highly recommend it.
Getting back to the forest for a second, one of the comments I wanted to make to you is how the forest can make your familiar surroundings seem different. I don't know if you've ever explored into that, but I've heard many a story from people who are outdoors people and it's happened to me where went into one of our areas where we found Sasquatch prints. And all of the sudden, I looked up. I've been to this place 100 times, like literally, no exaggeration, 100 times. And everything looks different, looks nothing. And I actually started to panic because I was there with 5 other people and I didn't know the way to my vehicle. And we were only in the trees a couple 100 feet. And like I said, I couldn't find my way. Everything
you've been
all
there
of a sudden,
so many times before, right? Very familiar to you.
Absolutely.
I've never had that happen. I've never been in a familiar. Actually never. I mean, I got disoriented one time in the woods, and the voices helped me out. But I've never actually been lost in a forest. That's never happened to me. I've been in lots of forests. I've just never been lost in one. I've been lost in other places. And the familiar becomes unfamiliar. But I think that's a bit unusual, actually, is my point, is that I think if you know it really well as you do, to really be kind of like out, like, where am I for a moment is, there's some kind of like, feels very vortexy. Is that
it is
should that
completely
be a new
weird.
word? Vortexy? This is very vortexy. Very vortexy scenario. Don't you think?
I don't know if it's vortex or just the forest playing tricks on you. That's what I really don't know. I'm not sure which one it is.
Well, I guess myself, I have to say, probably one of the reasons that I haven't had that experience is the forest that I spend the most time in and have routinely spent the most time in is also the forest that I grew up in when I was a fearless young child exploring unfettered heathen style. So that's my majority, I've been in other forests, of course, but the forests that I've done more deep exploring in are ones that are really are not familiar to me in that I've been to every square inch, but familiar to me in like, oh, I recognize this smell. This is the kind of forest I'm used to, kind of thing. So
It's interesting. 90 seconds to go with you tonight. Varla, I want to say it is.
Spot.
I know. I want to know, or I want you to tell everybody where they can find your new book, all of your books, and all about you, you awesome person.
All about me. Well, thank you. And thanks for having me back. I've missed you all. And thank you so much for the warm welcome back. You can find me at varlaventura.net. You can find me on Instagram at Varla Ventura. Oh, and I am on Facebook, but Facebook disabled. I don't know. Facebook erased my account. So I started a new one. So if you want to find me there, that would be great, because I lost, like 900 people when that happened. So 900 of my closest friends went away. So I would appreciate if you found me on Facebook again and, liked me. Please like me. But yeah, you can find my books wherever books are sold. Keep an eye on my website. I say this, I haven't updated it in like 2 weeks, but keep an eye on my website under appearances. I'll drop the links to different interviews that I'm in, but also I am making more, I'm doing a lot of presentations from my book and, making the rounds. So if you happen to be somewhere that I am, then we can hang out.
Beautiful.
And talk about plants.
varlaventura.net is her website. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, Swamp Dweller will kick off with another spooky story. Then little Timmy James will be in for the UFO report. It's going to be busy. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be hour 3 next on the Mighty SOR. You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. All right, we are clear. Thank you, my dear.
Thanks, Dave. It was great to talk to you again.
You're awesome.
Oh, you're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You were absolutely awesome. Thank you
You're
for.
the best.
I was so happy to get your message that you wanted to come back on.
Yeah. Thanks for making time for me.
Always. Always. We make it happen because you're Varla fucking Ventura.
Okay, I'm going to make sure you get my fucking book because
Good.
that's fucked up that you didn't get it already.
I know.
I'll just double check with them to make sure they're not sending it. But even if they do, then you would just get 2 copies. But I'll send you one, and I got to send one to Phil too.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I have your address because I've asked for it multiple times, and it's on the big sheet.
I'll send it again.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's
All right.
on the sheet that I sent to them to send to you.
Okay.
So I have it.
Beautiful. Much love, my dear. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks, Dave. All right. Good night.
Have a good night. Varla Ventura, everybody. We love her. We do. I'll be right back with you. All right. Bring in little Timmy James from his home studio.
What is happening?
What is happening, buddy?
Oh, not too much. Not too much.
Perfect. All right. Let's say hello to Scott Rosen and Poncho Zorch. Anybody else come in late? All right. We're caught up. 43 seconds. Big thank you to Natasha, T-Bone, Walter, and Kitty for the great super chats tonight. Greatly appreciate your love and support of SOR. Timmy.
What a.
I don't like it when you're at home. I know you have to be right now because you're editing number 6, but
Yes. Unfortunately, but fortunately. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Here we go, buddy. 5 minutes for Swampy. Hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for joining us. We have Swamp Dweller and the UFO Report with little Timmy James coming up here very, very soon. Hey, I want to say hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Balbutant. Balbutant is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp.
Hello, my name is Emma, and I am 20 years old, but this happened when I was around 17, I believe. I lived in New Jersey, Browns Mills, so there were a lot of woods around. It was perfect to go camping because I love nature, and it's right next to my house. So one night at around 10:30 p.m., I gathered my friends, Giselle, Aiden, Eli, and Lewis. We went to the woods. We only wanted to look around because this was the New Year's, so I wanted to shoot some fireworks. But we decided to stay there for a while, so we all sat on the ground and I lit a fire so we could have s'mores. Then Eli got up to look around. We weren't going to stay there all night until Eli found a cabin. It was a brown and greenish color. It was rusty, and it had a few stains on the windows. To give an idea of what the area looks like, there was a trail next to my house leading into a small patch of trees, and if you went past the trees, you would find a small field with a cabin. So we went in. The inside was very dark, and it smelled weird like cigarette smoke. Well, that's the best way I can describe it. A huge living room with a basement. Good thing we brought sleeping bags because if not, we would have had to sleep on the floor. And it was pretty dirty and dusty, and it smelled. I brought snacks for when I got hungry. At around maybe 12:30 a.m., Aiden, Lewis, and Eli were passed out. That meant there was only me and Giselle still awake, and I was bored. Around that time, we started hearing weird noises. Not like growling or anything, but like creepy music. So I looked out the window and I didn't see anything besides our patio, a street lamp, trees, and a white small figure. We decided to ignore it until we started hearing music again. I got annoyed, looked out, and on the tree, there was what looked like A white, deformed bear. I was immediately shaking. I felt like my heart was going to explode out of my chest. Giselle asked, "Are you okay?" I said yes, but she could tell I wasn't telling the truth. So I said I thought I saw a bear, but I'm sure it was just my imagination. Then it was silent. Her face was as pale as mine, as though she saw it herself. I asked her, "Did you ever see it before?" She didn't say anything for a few seconds. And then she said, "Yes, when I was a little kid, I used to see it all the time in the woods at night when I would play outside. I thought he was my friend, and he would walk and try to talk to me all the time." A loud screech interrupted our conversation. I looked outside, at the bear outside of our cabin. We were very silent until my phone started ringing. Of course, the bear thing turns its head to see me and my friend looking out of the crack from the window. We pulled our heads in and called the cops. The bear was very tall. It was looking through the window, so we got one of our blankets immediately covered it. There's no door, so it could have easily got in. We were scared, so after that we woke up our friends and we told them to go to the basement. They didn't say anything, probably because of the look on our faces. After they went to the basement, we soon followed. Me and my friend stayed on the rotten stairs. I heard it come inside and I peeked my head out to see, and it wasn't an ordinary bear. It was tall, white, and deformed. It had red spots everywhere as well as glowing eyes. We didn't run down the stairs because it would make too much noise. Instead, we quietly tiptoed down the stairs. My friend said their ears were ringing. I told them to be quiet. I checked my phone and it was around 3 a.m., so we decided to try to go to bed, but I wound up staying awake just to make sure it didn't come down here with us. Later, at around 6 a.m., the sun was coming up. I checked upstairs and found some of our things were not there, and some of them were scattered around the room. The bear was missing. I'm so glad I survived that. I'm never going camping again, though. Thank you for sharing my story.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another creepy story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Literally thousands of stories there for you. And they're all entertaining. So make sure you check them on out. Here's the UFO report.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
We bring in little Timmy James for the UFO report. And Tim, it's always good to have you here. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, and it's always great to be here.
Well, busy few days in the UFO world. We'll get to that momentarily. But we know people want an update from what happened out in the forest this past weekend in the heart of the Caribou region of British Columbia, what we call Flight 21. And first and foremost, we want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned us in. I can't believe we have over 8,000 people who have viewed that video, our last video, man.
No doubt. Just checking out a couple of knuckleheads walking around in the forest, not knowing what they're doing. Thank you.
Yeah, a couple of middle-aged fat white guys hanging on out in the trees with pointy sticks looking for Bigfoot. It doesn't get any more real than that.
Nope, definitely not.
Now, we could either look at that in a couple of ways. Either we're really exciting or we really have no life, so that's what we're doing.
I'd probably say both. We're exciting with no lives. No, it's all good, and this is turning out to be more than I thought it was going to be already, and this is just the wheels are just starting to roll on this. So I'm sure this is going to get a little bit more adventurous, intense as we move along. I'm sure, and we'll have our ups and downs. We'll have those moments, I'm sure, where there's just stuff coming at us left, right, and center, and then we'll have our mellow nights as well. So definitely agree. And
people are already asking, when's the next video coming out? We'll just say that you just started working on it. Your audience wants these, Tim. They want these.
I know, our audience. Yeah. So I just put it together. It'll be another movie of the week by the looks of it. It's I'm looking at right now we're looking at 2.5 hours of video before I start cutting. So, and that's before, and if I don't find anything else on the other videos, and yeah, so it's going to be a good one. I will have it. I'm going to work my butt off and we'll have it out. Hopefully, again, Dave will have her all ready to rock for the weekend. I'm hoping that it'd be nice if it's sooner, like the last time, but we'll see. We'll see. We just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything and skipping through stuff just to rush the process, if you know what I mean.
It's got to be done properly.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. The weirdest thing that happened this past weekend was this strange skunk smell.
Yes.
I didn't get that. And I don't know about you, but I have been a little confused by that the last couple of days thinking about that. So in that area, yes, we do have skunks up here. But one of the things that I thought about today, skunk odor lingers.
Big time.
And Tim and I walked into this area because we set up a brand new gifting site. We went back to the original gifting site and set that up in 2020. We started it, so we're refocusing it here in 2025. It's a little bit out of the way. It's a nice walk in there. But the weird part about it is when we walked in, there was absolutely no skunk smell. And you'll see this on the video. And as we start to head out, this little mini tree, it's maybe 10 feet high, 12 feet high. Yeah. Okay, very thin, under a lot of cover from that massive tree that we use as a gifting site. That's probably 110 feet tall.
Yeah, easy.
And all of a sudden, this little mini tree reeks like skunk.
Yes.
It reeks like skunk, and then it disappears.
Completely. And the funny thing is that you and I discussed it. Obviously, we discussed it. But when we were going over that, first of all, we do have skunks, but they are so few and far between up here. Like, I think maybe in all the years I've been living here and then coming up as a kid and vacationing up this way, I don't think I've ever seen one up here. Besides something roadkill. But yeah, that was really weird. And we checked it out, and I think we're something like 1,600 meters above sea level or something like that. We're at the top of a mountain, so there is no marsh up there. There is no swamp, because I thought, okay, skunk cabbage, right? No. And yeah, Dave's right. Like, I mean, we walked in and it was like nothing. We wandered around and did our thing and came back by this tree, and it was like, yep, that's skunk. And we walked around a little bit more, come back, no smell. Walk down the trail about another 10, 15 feet. Bing, there's that skunk smell again. But it went away as quick as it showed up. And you're right, like there was no linger to it. It was just like it would just happen to be there. Like, strange to say the least.
Yeah, and it just vanished. And that's the thing that bugs me is with the skunk, it literally will stick around. That odor is pungent. Oh, and man, it will literally hang around. It just because it's being sprayed.
Yeah.
So it's not just going to vanish. And literally, when we walked in that trail to the tree, we were only 15 feet away, maybe 20 feet away from that tree. And then all of a sudden, that little mini tree starts reeking like skunk. And then it vanishes.
Yeah. And again, completely unheard of, because if anybody's had the wonderful, the joy of having a pet sprayed by a skunk, it doesn't just go away. Even after you bath them 20 times, you can still smell it. So Very, very unusual to say the least.
Yeah, I know it doesn't sound like much, but
Mm.
it was just weird. Weird.
Agreed.
All right, let's get to the UFO stuff because there's a lot to go through here,
Yeah.
especially up here in Canada, where after months and months and months of waiting, 10 months to be exact, Sky Canada has finally released their UFO/UAP report. What do you got
Yeah.
for us?
Well, as you said, they've, as of today, Canada's chief science advisor, Mona Nemer, released a significant report on UFO and UAPs as part of the Sky Canada project, the country's first official study on the topic in nearly 30 years. Published by CTV News and authored by Daniel Otis, who we've talked about before on the show, the report emphasizes a scientific approach to the UFO investigations and addresses the fragmented state of current reporting systems in Canada. So before I get going on this, what I've gleaned from this, and it was great because Miss Nicole Sakic sent me this and said, "Hey, did you see this?" And I was like, "No," because I've put into my my contact in that office and never heard back. So this was kind of a surprise. So it really is an expansion of the report of the summary or the summarized version back in January. So the key points on the report is a centralized federal body. So the report recommends establishing a dedicated federal agency to standardize, collect, and analyze UFO and UAP reports, addressing the current lack of coordination among agencies like Transport Canada and the Royal Canadian Air Force. Improve reporting mechanisms. It urges Transport Canada to encourage aviation professionals, such as pilots and air traffic controllers, to report sightings without stigma, noting that better data collection could enhance flight safety. Transparency, our favorite word, and public engagement. The report prioritizes transparency to counter misinformation and conspiracy theories, advocating for public access to reliable UFO data and UAP data, and the development of digital tools such as reporting apps to streamline submissions. Scientific rigor. It calls for structured, evidence-based approach to studying UFOs, inspired by international models like the US's Arrow and France's GPAN, without aiming to confirm or deny extraterrestrial origins. International cooperation. The report suggests aligning Canada's efforts with global standards through partnership with organizations like NASA and sharing data to advance scientific inquiry. So, the Canadian reactions to this public sentiment, as reflected in January of 2025, when they previewed the Sky Canada report, show significant interest and support for government action. Approximately 50% of Canadians surveyed believe there are organizations investigating UFOs, though most cannot name them. Half feel the government should address UFO sightings, and 55% supporting the creation of a dedicated reporting agency, and 71% favoring public access to sighting information. Additionally, 49% of Canadians agree that the government should take UFO seriously, and 60% want regular updates on findings. These figures indicate a public desire for transparency and a structured investigation, driven by curiosity and a demand for clarity to reduce speculation. The report's release has sparked discussion about modernizing Canada's approach to UAPs and UFOs, with Nemer's recommendations seen as a step towards fostering trust and scientific curiosity among Canadians. So, what I got from this is all we did was add about 9,000 more paragraphs to the report. I went through the whole thing, and it's quite a long report. I didn't really find anything that we haven't actually touched on here with the Sky Canada report, since what, a year ago or a year and a half ago. All they've done is they've basically opened it up now. They've finalized everything. They've dotted their I's and crossed their T's. I do like the fact that there is a structured approach to this. I'm sure that a lot of people may not agree with the way that they may want to look at certain aspects of this, but it's a start, and I think it's, for Canada, that's a huge step. And seeing the people, there's a lot of people up here that Canadians are a little bit more quiet about. This is, I think everybody knows, but it's interesting to see that the public and the Canadian citizens, really, there's a lot of people out there that want to know what's going on, but I would say with not as much fervor as a lot of our American cousins. So, like I say, I think it's a good thing. I don't think that there's anything, oh my God, in this. I just see that they've laid plans, is basically what it is, and where they move forward and when they move forward with this with their implementation of certain aspects of this, who knows?
One of the things that I like about the report,
Mhm.
number one, is that they went back in history and gave a lot of credit to Wilbur Smith, who really was a pioneer. If you want to know where UFO research started, especially on the government level, it really started with Canadian researcher Wilbur Smith, who was asked to do a study called Project Magnet back in the day. And eventually, his work had him called down to Washington, D.C. And after his reports and his information, it ended up, or the United States ended up starting Project Blue Book, led by Dr. J. Allen Hynek. And the two countries really pressed together a lot of information regarding this. So the fact that Dr. Mona Niemer gave credit to the the history of this in Canada is great. I also like the idea that she stated she wants to see a Canadian UAP/UFO task force. She thinks it needs to happen. There's way too much information out there that needs to be looked at, a lot more than what she thought was going to be there, and a lot more than what was supposed to be there. I believe they had over 1,000 reports, which is great.
Yes.
The problem that they are going to have right now, and Daniel Otis, I think, hit the nail on the head, and Dr. Niemer hit the nail on the head. There is no further conversations with the government planned at this time. That's the downside to this. There is, and this is how this story may get buried. Because one of the things Niemer stated was she was actually quite shocked about how much information there was and how excited people were for this report. And that her office has never seen so many phone calls, emails like yours, Tim, and thousands of other people reaching out asking about, can they help? When's it coming out? What can they do, or where can they go for their sightings, and all of this. So it did bring some much needed attention as well as excitement across Canada that Niemer was doing this, and that caught her off guard.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And trying to corral all that information from it being scattered all over half acre up here. I mean, Department of Transport, Air Force, all that information had to come into one pile, and it wasn't there to begin with. They had to go hunting for it and requesting it. So, yeah, good on them. Good on them. And I'm actually quite excited about this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great report. I've only read portions of it so far. I look forward to getting into it. It is very nuts and bolts. Okay, they weren't going down the woo side, although she did acknowledge that it doesn't mean that their report doesn't mean that there isn't life out there somewhere that could be visiting. But she was very, very adamant that they wanted to keep this very nuts and bolts. And you know what? You need to start somewhere. It's a good start. It's a solid start. And of course, it doesn't solve anything, but baby steps. That's what we're hoping for. Tim, hold on right there. When Tim James comes back with the UFO report, we're going to get into, guess what? More hearings right around the corner. This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
And we're clear.
We're clear. Sorry, Varla was just texting me, thanking me.
That's awesome. That's good to
Yeah.
see her back. That was
She was
great.
amazing.
Oh, always.
Yeah. It was good to have her back.
Mm-hmm. No question.
Bobbert Gray, no, we haven't had Travis Walton on. We've tried, and he's tried. We just never been able to line up a date. Dirty Filth needs to try and get him.
Yeah. That'd be an interesting show.
Bob's like, I'll pay for his plane ticket to you. The plane ticket is easy. The problem is getting the vehicle up here to make the trek up. Ugh.
Yeah, lots of footage, man. It's so funny how much we film when we're up there. It's like, oh my gosh.
I didn't think we filmed that much when we were up there this time.
Nope, we did. Longer segments.
Got you. I have an idea for you.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
What I would do is we really got nothing out of the Estes methods.
Not really, yeah.
I would just cut those. They didn't produce anything.
No, just some minor stuff, really.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said earlier, we're going in clean. Well, I am. I'm not bringing that, or not going to have it on my person this time. That stone.
No, that could have blocked us.
I'm thinking, like when we finished, when we were tidying up at the end of the night there, and we were down at Timmy's. When I said that, I was like, man, it just seemed that maybe that had some effect on stuff, but experiment without it.
I'm excited about Lolly joining us this weekend.
That's going to be interesting. Very interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
I think we may have some effects from that. And I'm saying some real positive effects.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So she's going to drive. We're going to meet her in town.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to drive up behind us.
Yep.
Until we get to the turnoff.
Right.
And then we'll have to make room for her in the back of the Jeep, and then off we go.
All right. No, that works.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. You know what? I texted her today.
Mm-hmm.
Her first words to me, after I texted her, I said, "Do you mind if I give you a quick call?" And she's like, "Sure." And she picks up the phone, not a hello, hi, nothing. She's like, "Spirit told me you were calling." And then all of a sudden you started messaging me. She goes, "I've known for days you were calling."
Wow.
And I'm like, and she is so freaking excited, dude.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And she doesn't mind being on camera?
No, I've already cleared that with her. I said, you will be on camera. She's like, "That's fine."
Okay.
But it's going to add something to it. Stu Effin Gerson is in the chat room.
What?
Heavy on the effing right there.
Lurking.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Oh, and I talked to Leanne Salenbeck today from Beyond the Haunting.
Yeah.
And she wants to, she's checking out our YouTube stuff, and she's like, I'm like, "You want to come with us?"
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Really? I get to come with you? You guys want me out there?" I'm like,
Sure.
"Yeah, why don't you come out?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my God, I never thought you would ask. I was hoping you would ask." And and I'm like, "Yeah, well, no problem."
Yeah. No,
You know what I will say about her that I really respect about her?
Mm-hmm.
She claims that as our territory. That's not hers. even though anybody could go there and investigate, she claims it as yours and my territory, and she doesn't want to step on that.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you to Natasha, T-Bone, Walter, and Kitty for the super chats. Greatly appreciate your love. And here we go, everybody. Here comes the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate burning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, we want to remind all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. He's Little Timmy James. I'm Dave Scott. This is a UFO report. We are going from UFOs in Canada to Washington, D.C., where guess what's coming? Tim?
Yeah. So, well, let me just break it to you. The anticipated congressional hearing on UAP and UFO, originally scheduled for this month, has been postponed to September, according to a statement from an aide to the House Oversight Committee. Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who has been a vocal advocate of UAP and UFO transparency, had previously announced the hearing as part of her federal secrets task force's effort to address growing public and legislative interest in unexplained aerial sightings. The delay has sparked frustration among advocates who view it as a setback in the push for government disclosure on UAPs and UFOs, with some suggesting it reflects bureaucratic resistance to releasing sensitive information. The hearing is expected to focus on whistleblower testimonies and national security implications. Following recent briefings with experts and former defense officials, no specific reason for the delay was provided, but lawmakers remain committed to advancing the UAP Disclosure Act, which aims to declassify records and enhance public access to information about these phenomena. So, interesting. I was like, okay, but right after that popped up in a recent interview with Representative Eric Burleson, he discussed Congress's efforts to bring whistleblowers with direct involvement in classified UFO crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs to testify at the upcoming congressional hearing. We're working to get those firsthand witnesses, the people who have actually handled materials, who have seen things, who have been part of these programs, Burleson stated, emphasizing the significance of their potential testimony. He added, these are individuals who can speak to the reality of what's been going on behind closed doors. The prospect of such witnesses testifying has raised questions about whether this could mark a significant step towards greater transparency or greater transparency on unidentified flying objects. Burleson further noted, if we can get these individuals to come forward under oath, it could change the conversation entirely. No date for the hearing has been confirmed, but Burleson's comments suggest a focused effort to bring classified information into the public domain. So, question, was it delayed because of timing and other garbage going on, or is Burleson trying to hoard or recruit whistleblowers from actual retrieval programs to testify? I'm just curious. It just seemed kind of, timing was perfect almost for both of those reports to come out at the same time. That's all I'm saying.
There's a couple ways to look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And number one, I don't need any more hearings.
What?
I think we've had enough people come out to say that this is real, and not just the whistleblowers or the experiencers, but generals. We've had many people in the military and high up positions come out and say this is here, whether it's from the Air Force, the Space Force, the Navy, other government officials. To me, disclosure happened. Okay, it did. And we're just playing a game now because we all want the president to say, my fellow Americans, we are not alone.
Mhm.
That being said, it will impact this story greatly if they can get true whistleblowers there.
Exactly.
Not guys with secondhand information like David Grush. No offense to David Grush, but
no.
he was a story collector. Okay? Not guys like Lou Elizondo. No offense to Lou or his book. Okay, I'm not giving him a shot, but if you can bring in 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 people and give them full on protection from the government and any sort of ramifications that could follow from that, that could blow the story right open.
Yeah.
People who claim that they have actually worked on extraterrestrial aircraft and seen non-human intelligence, maybe dead or alive. That's totally different. Completely different than what we would be used to. And the other question would be, would that be able to be stated in public under oath?
Yeah.
But they need protection. That pipe dream by Eric Burleson is never going to happen unless these people who have done the science on these craft and potentially on the bodies, they would need their protection. Protection of their careers, protection of their lives, because it's going to open up a Pandora's box that may never, ever be able to be closed.
True.
And that's what we need to look at there. And if I'm one of these people who is thinking about this, maybe on the fence of this, I don't know if I would do it. My job is at stake, which means if I get fired from the government, the likelihood of me getting a job elsewhere may be slim to none because I'm a whistleblower now. Probably going to lose my pension.
Yeah.
It could affect my spouse's job, especially if my spouse works in government as well.
Yeah. See, and I agree with you. I'm up to here with hearings and over and over again. But looking back at, comments that you and I have made on the show many a times, is if the hearings may be worth it if these sort of people, different whistleblowers and with full protection, show up. That's when I want to have a hearing, and it can't be a skiff where it's part-time skiff and the rest is just fluff coming out to the public. You know what I mean? But if these guys were protected, you're right. I think this is the hearing that I definitely want to hear. New faces, new voices, and people that have got carte blanche and don't worry about it. We've got your back. Just let her rip. That would be. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. I'd love to be there for it. Never mind a fly on the wall with it. But yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, things have to change dramatically for these people to come out of the woodwork. And like you say, Burleson running around trying to recruit or, asking for resumes for people that want to do this, for lack of a better phrase. And that's high hopes.
Well, the other thing too that you have to look at is what kind of assurances can he give those people? Okay. What kind, because Burleson is, and once again, mean this with no disrespect, he's not a powerful congressperson.
No.
Okay. He doesn't have a lot of pull. Tim Burchett doesn't have a lot of pull. Anna Paulina Luna doesn't have a lot of pull. Nancy Mace has some pull and the ears of the president. So does Marco Rubio when he was, a senator, pardon me. Okay. He had the ears of the public and of those around him, but they don't have that heavyweight. Okay. That needs to be able to get this further in Congress. They're big names to us because they care about our subject matter.
Yes.
That's why these people are on the Mount Rushmore of politicians when it comes to wanting to break this story open. And
Yeah.
I really hope that they take a look at what is truly going on. Will they?
Yeah.
I don't know. But if say a bigger name congressperson who has more pull was giving assurances of immunity, job security, then I think it would have a little bit more pull than Burleson or that group.
Yes.
So
true.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
Do we need more hearings? I don't think so. But if it's the right people and Burleson can come through with this, even if it's just one.
Yes.
Just one. It's going to make a difference. What else you got for us?
Oh, well, okay. So I don't know about you guys. I mean, but all I know is I've been seeing so much Ross Coulthart with just into everything. Last week he was on the air and he was talking about the Tic Tac. So he's expanded on his Tic Tac comments from last week. So in a surprising development, journalist Ross Coulthart has made bold claims about the 2004 Tic Tac UFO incident, suggesting advanced technology and unconventional control methods. Coulthart, known for his work on unidentified aerial phenomenon, recently stated he was informed that a mysterious object encountered by U.S. Navy pilots was developed by Lockheed Martin, which was the Tic Tac. He expressed confidence in the information, saying, quote, "I now know categorically that the Tic Tac is Lockheed Martin," end quote. However, Coulthart has since expanded on this narrative, asserting he is reasonably sure, in quotes, the Tic Tac was operated psionically, implying control by human with psychic abilities. He elaborated, "What I was told, and I am reasonably sure that this is the case, is that the Tic Tac was being operated by Lockheed Martin, and it's conceivable that it was being operated neuromeditatively, psionically." These statements have sparked intense debate, with some questioning whether Coulthart's sources are credible or if his claims point to a deliberate misinformation campaign. The notion of psionic control, a concept rooted in science fiction, has raised eyebrows as it suggests a fusion of human consciousness with advanced technology. Coulthart's assertions remain unverified, and Lockheed Martin has not publicly commented on the matter. The claim continues to fuel speculation about the origins and capabilities of the Tic Tac object. So, I've watched a ton of Coulthart stuff, and it just to me, I'm just going to say it, and this is just my opinion. Is he kind of? I don't know if he's kind of losing it or if he's drinking too much of the Kool-Aid. I feel that he's kind of. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how to put it into words. I've got questions about him. That's for sure. That's for sure.
I stand for about the last year and a half or so. I stand on the fact that I believe the Tic Tacs are man-made.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't, not to brag here, but we broke that story about 18 months ago or so with random guy on the air.
Yeah.
Now, with Coulthart, the one thing I know about him is that he does his due diligence on his sources. Now, when you have sources that are deep inside these type of government agencies or whatever, can they feed you false information? Yes, they can. There's all sorts of back meetings that go in place. Say, hey, Ross may sit there and interview you on this. You may want to tell him that these were made by Lockheed Martin, or these were made by Raytheon, or whatever. And then he goes to another couple sources, that confirm this. That's where I am kind of in the middle of this right now in trying to figure out what are his sources saying. That's the big one right now. Are they leading him on? Are they sending him down a rabbit hole of no return? Because a journalist like Ross will not run a story like this off of just one source.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's going to have 2, 3, 4 sources that are different in regards to this. That's the way it's going to work. Okay.
Yeah.
And so are all of his different sources telling him the same story? Or are they teaming up to lead Ross on? Is that possible? Yeah, you can't throw that out.
No.
Okay. But he's not going to run a story like this as a one-off source from a government agency.
No. And the thing is you just nailed it, because there are there's lots of statements, and I did read a report, or I guess an op-ed on him being intentionally misled. Not that he is the disinformation agent and that he's in cahoots, but like you said, it's coming from different sources. He's vetting him. They're feeding him, and that's the theory that's rolling around right now. Is that, I mean, he jumped in with Barber, great. He's written his book. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff, and he's an investigative journalist, and you would know that better than anybody what that entails. So, but I think that the consensus at this point in time, with some of the, I guess, the statements and some of the things he's coming out with, people are going, hang on a second, that he's getting duped, or they feel that he's getting duped. People think that he's getting duped, and he's passing on information as news from his sources, which I'm sure he is 100% sure they're credible. But are they? Are they really?
And we'll never know that, because he's not going to admit who his sources are.
Never. And that's where his critics jump in and say, look, he can't even produce who they are. He won't even, he comes out with grandiose
and
stuff.
Nor should he.
No, exactly.
And I will defend Ross on that to the nth degree. Nor should he give up his sources.
No. And you're right. He shouldn't. Interesting guy.
So it is something that I think that it's going to be interesting to see how that comes out, because Ross is going to take this story right down to the wire.
Sure.
He really is. He has no choice now.
No.
He just can't drop it. He needs to go with that. But I would say that he's got solid information from people who claim that this is a man-made object, these Tic Tacs. Right. And if they are, now my personal opinion, like I said, I am believing that they are. Right. Am I correct on that? I have no idea. No idea. But let's just say for a second that they are. How far ahead in technology does that put the United States military?
No doubt.
That's something we need to look at too. Okay.
Agreed.
Because that's going to make a lot of questions be asked, and probably to little to no answers, because Lockheed Martin is not going to come out and say these are ours. No. They're not going to, and if they are ours, that means there's some sort of drone.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
They will say that they are some kind of drone, and we really don't know. Now here's the other thing I want to bring up too. Okay, in regards to these Tic Tacs, they could be both alien and human, separate craft, but they could be. It's like the black triangles.
Okay,
we know that the United States. We don't know for 100%, but we believe. Let me say, we believe the United States is in possession of black triangles called TR3Bs. I don't think the United States government has a TR3B the size of a city that people have claimed to have seen. I don't think they own all the black triangles that are out there. Do they have 5? Do they have 3? Do they have 50? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I don't think they have all of them that are being seen, especially in these hot areas where these black triangles are being seen, and in
Okay.
different countries. So could the Tic Tac be both as well? There's a good possibility.
Interesting theory. Very interesting. I never thought of that, and yeah, that's plausible.
Well, remember, if it is maybe aircraft that have been, looked at, they may have been able to develop that if they have the science and the technology to get the propulsion systems correctly.
And I don't think that there'd be an issue with that. Just my opinion. I think that that wouldn't be, like you said, World War I went from prop airplanes to the next World War II. There was hypersonic and supersonic jets or whatever. So yeah, I don't think that the technology of the propulsion part of it would stump them too much. I think that they've already probably developed that in some way or another anyway.
We don't know. And that's the easiest answer to say. We don't know. It could be a combination of both.
Yep.
And if they've reverse engineered the technology, you already have the body. And if you could figure out the physics, you could probably get there as well. Tim, thank you for a great UFO report. We'll see you in a couple of nights' time. And thank you for the return of Varla Ventura, hanging on out for the first time in a few months. We say hello now to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal, rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. All right. Good show.
Very good.
It was a good time tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I say, it was great to see Varla back. That was awesome. Oh, moody Mongol. Yes, Tim. There's no skunk smell in the studio. Wasn't me.
It was totally you. It was totally you.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh.
I smell
no,
it.
But like getting back to that skunk smell was weird, man.
That, yeah. And I mean, I've hunted for years and stuff like that. And sure, you run across stuff and you catch whiffs of things, and I get it, but not like that. Just, yeah, not like that. You don't walk through an area and, and smell it and stand there and then walk away and then come back and it be gone and then walk, 20 feet the opposite direction or something. And then you get a whiff of, yeah, it just didn't make any sense at all.
Let's put our woo hat on here for a second because we're woo guys.
Okie dokie.
What if it was an invisible Sasquatch standing in those areas and we didn't even see it?
Well, anything's possible, man. We didn't see anything in the tree, so you can't rule it out. And I gotta say, when we're out there, though, we're hardcore. We really work to debunk stuff. Like, I mean, even in the videos, you can see Dave and I. Well, what do you think? I don't know. It's this, or it's a chupacabra, or it's a we kind of beat it to death before we, I think, really really come to any conclusions. That's for sure.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true.
Yeah, because that's the way we operate.
You never know.
That's right.
You never know.
Did your your people come back that you met on Saturday?
I got a phone call from them today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, better be worth it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, this conversation with Lolly, though, it was impressive.
Good.
She's like, I'm in Ottawa right now. I'll be back on Friday, but I will be ready to go on Saturday.
I looked her up in Canham Lake, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I looked her up. I found her on Instagram and stuff. I was like, cool. All right.
Yeah, she is. Her and her husband are two of the nicest people. They really are. And it was just so weird. Because a couple of times she said, I've known for days that you were calling. And she goes, the spirits up there have already been talking to me, telling me what's going on. I'm like, oh, yeah. Tim's gonna, my first thought was, oh, yeah, Tim's going to like this. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think I might know her husband.
Yeah. What's his name?
He owns his own business, right?
I believe so.
Mechanic.
Yeah. What is his name again?
It's a different name.
1 second here. I'm going to look him up. Now it's bugging me because I know his name.
Yeah. I think I know who he is.
What is his name?
Oh, I just thought I had it.
Either way, great dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
I'll check because I think he does work on our trucks if it's the same guy. I saw a picture of him with her.
Is it Ross? Ross Bennett?
I don't know if
it might be Ross.
Is that the picture of him and her up at the rodeo?
Could be.
I think so. If that's him, then I know him. But I can't remember his name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and she works for the Cannon Band.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
That's
she's
awesome.
already like, I'll have my drum ready.
Cool.
I will have everything ready to go.
That's so
I'm
awesome.
like, yeah,
I'm looking
this is
forward
what
to
we
that.
need. I think it's going to open things up, dude.
Well,
We're going to have to be ready because there's some good stuff that could be coming with that.
I think too. I think like Lon said and Robin and Bull said, I think that those 6, like the 6 times that you were told to come up there, I think that was to test you or test that whatever, but test you originally. And I think what it is too is to see how we reacted to stuff. And I think that they're pretty comfortable. Like you and I in the last couple of times when we walked around and stuff, like we've rolled in and it's been really tense and without sounding like, we're the end all be alls, but when we show up, it almost feels like they're going, "Oh, it's Tim and Dave. Okay." Where, everything kind of mellows out. I don't know.
Agreed.
Just
I would
speculate.
totally agree with that, my friend.
Yeah.
Totally agree with what you just said.
Yeah.
There seems to be a calming effect. And look, guys, like this area, I'm not trying to brag about Tim or myself, but it does feel like we're building a trust and a foundation with whatever is there in order to help it come out and be comfortable with us.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's not saying there isn't anything that we shouldn't be careful of.
Oh,
because we definitely know we need to be careful.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think they're going to allow us a little bit of leeway. Put it that way.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the mindset that we started this whole thing off with, and then bringing that to the site, it's not just talk. And I mean, obviously, you've seen in the videos if you've watched them. We're not forcing anything out there, and and it's like Merle says, right? Yeah, we're not. Yeah, come on, we're not trying to provoke anything, and you just let it happen naturally. And I think that we've earned a lot of respect that way. And the times that we've been up there, we've shown nothing but respect. So I'm thinking that we're okay with them so far.
As long as we don't piss them off.
Well, that's just it. And it's funny because I walk around up there and I walk around like I'm a guest in somebody's house. If that makes sense. It's like, yeah, I'm very careful about what I do up there and how, how I do things. And I think, it's not my house. I'm a visitor. And and I think that walking in there with that mindset has definitely helped us.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I would agree with that. And, and just for the public knowledge, we are going to have times when we're up there over the next couple of years where nothing happens.
Yeah.
Nothing happens whatsoever.
Yeah. Yep. And that's okay too. That's okay too. Because I mean, I think that is testing patience. Because, it's not always a party when you go when you head to the for a cocktail after work. Sometimes it's just a cocktail, right? It develops the way it develops, and I think that with this I think it's just us learning patience as well, and that's okay. I'm down with that as well. Can't have a home run every time.
I still can't believe 8,000 people have watched that.
That's fantastic and much appreciated.
Oh, totally. Totally. It's just weird, man.
Yeah.
I thought it would sit around like our first 4.
Yeah.
They're, one's around 1,000, one's around 1,500, the other one's around 1,200. That's where I expected them to be.
Yeah, me too.
Right. And then all of a sudden this one's like 8,000. I'm pretty sure it's because of when we placed it. Doing the premiere on that. T-Bone thinks we're going to go to 18,000 on that.
Attaboy.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no shit. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's still blowing my mind, and it's terrible. And you were right. You said that earlier in the show. It's like, yeah, Dave and I are always like texting each other and whatever. It was 5,200, yeah. And then
Dude,
now
I was
it's
excited when it hit 2,000.
no, me
And
too.
then I remember texting you, we're at 2,200. We're at 2,500.
I know. I was like, yes, that is so awesome. And then I thought we'd plateau. I really did. Yeah. And that's just a bonus. I'm glad that everybody's enjoying it that much that they're talking about it and spreading the word, right? It's like great.
And to be honest with everybody too, not that we haven't been through all of this, but we are cognizant when we're out in the field of what we can do to make you guys part of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're always looking, okay, what will you guys think if we do this? What will you guys think if we do that? You know, yes, we're following what the phenomena says, but it's also a matter of us, you know, trying to figure out what you guys like and what you guys want to see us maybe test out there within reason, of course, because we don't want to piss anything off.
Nope.
But there is that aspect where we have that conversation. And like somebody, I've never seen him in our chat room, but he or she put in the comments, you know, hey, when you stop and pause, zoom in, you might have something there that we don't even see. And I thought that was an absolutely brilliant comment. I really did. So I reminded Tim of that when we went in.
Yep.
Right. Just saying, hey man, let's try this out. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And I know Tim did a lot of that coming out of in the last video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
You'll definitely see that. And the thing is a lot of, you know, it sounds goofy because we're, like I said, we're just a couple, and Dave and I both said, we're just a couple of dudes that are out there, you know, trying to research some stuff, I guess. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on when the camera's not on. And that's, Dave and I do talk a lot about that, you know, like, hey, did you see what Mothman said about this, or T-Bone said? And you go, yeah, okay. Hey, that's a good idea. And what do you think if we tried this? And yeah, okay. And then we kind of talk about how we're going to develop that into some, you know, our next scene or whatever. And yeah, there's a lot of talk about the people that are watching the show, right? And how to gel what we need to do up there with what people are actually suggesting, and we try to incorporate that together, because it's about all of us. That's the fun part about this, and we enjoy seeing all your comments, and we enjoy seeing your suggestions, and your sightings and your markers. Hey, look at it, 1739, there was a black shadow. I go back, I look at them, and I'll go through that footage 1,000 times to see if I can see what people are talking about or what they've heard. This is a lot of fun, and we do appreciate it. Well, I know I do, and I know
me too. Yeah, me too. I'm in that same boat.
Yeah.
And here's another thing Tim and I were talking about, you know, because we've gone back over video and said, like Tim said, at 1739, there was a shadow and there's nothing there. Here's something I want to throw out to you guys, because the phenomena can be wonky. There are times when you're going to see things that we don't. And what if you're seeing a shadow, but we're not, or we're seeing something that you're not? I mean, a classic example of that is the potential Bigfoot photo that Tim caught. There are people who can see that. To me, it's plain as day, the face in the trees. But I've talked to people and shown people right to my face, and they're like, I don't see what you're looking at. To me, it looks like just a blurry image of something. Like, you don't see how can you not see the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the mouth? How can you not see that?
Yeah.
But there are some people who may not just have the ability to see it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's okay. That's totally fine, you know. and it's okay. We've had comments from people that there's some some skeptical comments, and again, totally cool. We appreciate it all, because sometimes a skeptical comment, a skeptical comment can make you see the other side of the coin that you weren't thinking about. So they're appreciated as long as they're not rude and condescending. But I mean, if a skeptical approach, that's perfect, because and if you see something, then you go, I'm thinking it might be a squirrel that did that, or perfect. Thank you. Bring it. Don't be afraid to say anything. That's awesome. We're open.
I agree. And you know what? Just for you guys, we're learning off of you guys.
True.
Yeah, we're learning. We're not. Tim and I aren't the sharpest tools in the shed when it comes to this filming stuff.
Nope.
Right?
Definitely not. Definitely
we're not of Moody Mongol caliber. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, we don't have the big steady cams and all the lighting and the booms. That's it. We're just winging it as we go. And and you guys are definitely helping us a lot, and we do appreciate that.
Oh yeah. And like I said, if you guys have experiments that you want us to try, put them in the comments. Kind of go from there.
Yeah, definitely. Just it's about all of us, like Dave said, and we just keep reiterating. I'm just going to shut up now.
On that note, tomorrow night on the show, Misha Johnson is going to be here to talk about alien abduction, alien species, my labs. She's going to get into it all tomorrow night. Thank you tonight to T-Bone, Natasha, Walter, and Kitty. We greatly appreciate your love and support. So thank you very much. Timmy?
Davey?
Thank you for a good night. We'll talk to you in a couple nights' time.
You betcha.
I'll give you a call tomorrow, okay?
Sounds good.
To the rest of you, we will see you tomorrow night. Thank you for tuning us in. Hope you enjoyed Varla. And don't forget to hit subscribe, ring that bell, and all of our replays can be heard here on YouTube or any major podcast network. Have a good night, everybody.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.